It is 1 minute after 6 o'clock by our one and only clock now in the room. Welcome everyone. Today is Wednesday, June 2nd, 2026. We have a full select board: Sharon Russell, Matt Getty, Mary Ashcroft, Joe Denardo, and Kurt Hathaway. That's close.
Say heavenly.
So, please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So in your packet are the select board minutes for May 19th. Is there been made to approve? Any second?
Second.
Motion seconded. Any additions, corrections, deletions, discussion? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Do we have okay, Sharon, you can't vote. Everybody else, aye in favor of. Okay.
This is for the last one.
Yeah.
One abstention, that would be Sharon. Sharon, everybody else's. There you go. Approval of orders. Has everyone had a chance to see them?
Move to approve.
Motion's made to approve. Is there a second? And seconded. Any questions or comments about the orders? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Are there any board member announcements? Update from the select board chair. I have a few things. One, the last intermunicipal committee meeting with the city on the 250th celebration of our nation's independence will be held Thursday. Should I get the right date? Will be held on, yes, Thursday, June 11th at City Hall. So it's your last chance to go to one of those. And then after that, it's in the hands of the rec departments in the city and the town, and they're doing a fine job. I did speak with Kevin Brown about the subdivision ordinance and the issue of leased lands triggering subdivision. So I can report on that a little bit later, but I think there might be another question or two. And I think Marie Faignant, who will not be calling in tonight, but will be joining us next meeting, I think she had some questions too. So just a heads up about that. Scholarship time. We have 7 scholarships to give out. There is one for MSJ. So if anyone is interested in covering MSJ this week, Thursday at 6 o'clock, just hold up your hand and I will give you the scholarship to hand out, and you will be a hero to one person. West Rutland High School also has one student receiving a scholarship, and that graduation and award ceremony is Friday, June 5th, which is this week. Same, if anybody would rather do it, I'd be very happy to share. Rutland High School is next week, Wednesday. That's June 10th, and there will be 5 awards there, and that's at 6 o'clock. Would anyone like to cover any of those? I know you are. I know you. I will try and get to all of them, because I think it's a pretty cool thing that we do.
Mary, if you call me at home, I can check my calendar.
Okay.
I might be able to do.
Okay. Thank you. All right, that's all I have. Are there any questions from the floor or public comments on anything not otherwise on the agenda? Okay. Let's move on. We do have a couple of items under action items. We'll start with Rebekah Stephens and Habitat for Humanity. Good evening, Rebekah.
Thank you.
With whoever else you want to bring up with you.
For backup.
So much for seeing us tonight. We appreciate your
Well,
time.
thanks for moving to town.
Oh, well, we're excited to be here. So I have a statement that I'm going to actually read, so I stick to it if that's okay. So,
Sure.
So good evening. I am Rebekah Stephens, the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity of Rutland County, Vermont, located at 3092 Cold River Road, Rutland, Vermont. Habitat purchased this building on January 2nd of 2026. This building houses our home panel workshop, our restore, and our corporate offices. PVR 317 was filed with Rutland Town Lister's office on November 18th of 2025. On or around April 22nd, I visited the Town Lister's office and learned that on March 11th, 2026, the PVR 317 exemption was denied by the Lister. We are here today to ask you to reverse the Lister's denial and confirm Habitat's property tax exempt status. As you will see from the documents submitted, and I submitted those to the board already, Habitat for Humanity of Rutland County is a Vermont nonprofit corporation recognized as tax exempt by the IRS under Section 501c3. Our charitable purpose is building affordable housing in Rutland County, Vermont. Our Restore is not a separate organization. It is an ongoing fundraiser for our organization, much like the sale of raffle tickets or a gala event. The Vermont statute is clear. 32 VSA 3800 says, the statutory purpose of the exemption for charitable property in subdivision 3802, parentheses 4 of this, the statute, is to allow organizations like Habitat to dedicate more of their financial resources to furthering their public service missions. Under 3802, Section 4, real and personal estate granted, sequestered, or used for charitable uses shall be exempt from taxation. In short, the statute clearly requires tax exemption for property used by charitable organizations for charitable purposes. The Restore is property used by a charitable organization, Habitat, for charitable purposes. Accordingly, we respectfully submit that under the law, the board has no choice but to reverse the Lister's unsupported determination and declare the property at 3092 Cold River Road, Vermont, to be exempt from all property taxes. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Rebecca, I have a question.
Yes, Sharon.
Did the listers tell you why they denied it?
They did not.
Did they give you anything in writing?
They did not. I did request it in writing and was told that they would find out if they could give it to me. But I did not receive it, and I did request it in writing on May 18th in anticipation of coming here, as well as several verbal requests.
And how is it, where did you find the appeal to the select board from the Lister's decision?
It is directly on the application. Originally, the email sent from the Lister here in Rutland Town had said that I needed to get on the ballot, but it turns out after speaking to the state, that's not correct. And according to the application, there's instructions. Okay, just bear with me, Ron. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it could be on there in this one, the instructions. So you look there. I do have it. I read it
Yeah,
twice.
I'm looking at, I have a blank form. Is it?
Yeah. It says it.
PBR 317.
Yes.
In the instructions.
It's right in
on
the
front.
instructions, so I think the instructions are. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. I have a couple piles here. I apologize for that. So underneath, who decides it, which is on page 2 of 3, and then, it says here, let's see. Appeal from the lister's assessor's decisions goes to the Board of Civil Authority.
Right.
That's you guys.
Well, it isn't just us.
Yeah.
Because it also includes the town clerk. It includes all of the justices of the peace
Okay.
and select board. Who am I missing? I think that's right. So, and we do have appeals.
Yep. Okay.
In fact, we just had an appeal meeting, an appeal hearing. Was it earlier this week? Okay. Was it last week? Okay. So what usually occurs is you file something and you give it to the town clerk, who kind of acts as our clerk for the Board of Abatement or Board of Civil Authority. And then she finds a time when we can pull together enough members of the Board of Civil Authority, including members of the Select Board who want to sit in and participate, and the JPs. And so the first thing is to get your appeal into the town clerk.
Okay. We can do that.
The more detail you have on it, the better, as we found out from our hearing last week. And I'll leave it to you, but you should have your filled out PVR form, and any written decision that you can get, and it sounds like you tried.
Me from you guys?
No, from the listers,
Rutland County, you mean, right?
Rutland Town listers,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Or some, recitation by you of what happened and why you don't have a written determination. Okay,
Sure, I've got to just ask.
Sure.
Do you happen to know what the deadline is for filing an appeal on that?
I don't.
Did Kari know, Mary? Because she's on.
Jeff? Are you representing someone here tonight? Okay. Consult with your attorney.
Professionally or non? Professional. And I see him late to the party.
We have questions for you, Jeff.
Maybe I have answers.
So, you want to switch?
Yeah, go ahead.
You have copies of your statement, or can you make sure that we get them?
I have properties of what?
Copies of your statement.
Of what you read to the board?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I don't have it with, I can get it for you.
Yeah.
We'll leave that one.
Okay. Yep.
And then could you just remind me what section you were citing?
It's 32 VSA 3800 and then 3802 parentheses 4.
Yeah, see, there's a whole other section now on restrictions on charitable uses, so this is, it's complicated. Got you. So, well, we're gonna have to go over it step by step, figure it out.
Just to catch you up, the appeal apparently is to the Board of Civil Authority. So we're part of it. The select board is part of it, but we're not the whole of it. So usually we ask that an appeal goes to Kari, our town clerk, and then she notifies the Board of Civil Authority and tries to pull together a quorum to have the hearing. Just so you're aware of how we kind of try and do it. It's not always easy because we've got a lot of folks headed out on vacation and those things right now, but we will try. And there's no written decision from the listers.
Correct.
Well, I think that would be an interesting.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Because I run a 501. I'm retired, supposedly. But that's the open door mission. We simply went in front of the board and said, this is what we're gonna provide. What we provide is food, shelter, clothing, referrals. And because we do that, we save money for the taxpayers. So I find myself in a difficult situation to even make a decision on this because we went to the board and the people and John Casarino and myself. And, you know, they said, you're providing us with this, this, and this, and it's not costing us anything. You're providing housing to low income people in need. And it's not really costing us. So that's my say for you. I don't know if I should recuse myself from voting on it in the end because,
Well, you're not on their board. And
no,
you're not running their organization.
no,
So you're fine.
Yeah.
no, thank you.
Just a reminder that the city has a charter, so their process may be a little different. than
And
what
that's, you're
state
probably
laws.
right, you know. But, I mean,
Okay, Joe, questions?
No, I mean, it's a shame. I mean, if they're qualified to be a nonprofit and be exempt from the property taxes, kind of a shame we gotta go through this, but I guess that's where we are. If the lister's denied it, we can't.
That's not,
Overrule.
that's just not how the law works though.
No,
It's not a blanket exemption for all
Right.
501c3s.
Right.
We have to actually.
no, it's different. You have to,
and so, and that's what I say, so you gotta do
So
some
we gotta have
some
the hearing.
legwork.
Yeah. Kurt, any questions?
No, I'm just more curious why the listers didn't offer a written statement as to why they denied you. But they're a different office than us, so we can't really answer that
And they
for
were
them.
kind of going through some changes that target.
Yeah.
That's true.
That may be.
So I'd reach back out to them and see if you can get a written statement out of them.
Okay, anything else that you'd like to say? I mean, we'd love to hear you, and I've been through your restore a couple of times.
Yeah, it's a very cool place.
Um, and Matt and I built a panel for one of your houses. Hopefully the panel stayed together up there.
It's in the house and it's still standing. So may I ask just one question, please?
Sure.
Is there an appeal form that you want me to file, or is it just
That I know of,
organic?
no. What I've seen come in from other folks who have requested abatements or appeals. Usually a letter kind of explaining what you're looking for. And in your case, you have a statement and you've got the PDR 317 form. And you can, ordinarily, I'd say, send in the lister's written determination. There, and you have an interesting situation, I think. So anything you can do, you're telling us that you're appealing what that determination is, and then why you think they're wrong and why we should.
did they give you a reason for their determination? In the letter, it was.
Says the town, dear Miss Stevens, and just, we came here to get this. It was put in the mail at some point, but we never received it. So I just want you to be aware of that. So I did get it from them personally. Dear Miss Stevens, the town has had the opportunity to consider the application for charitable exemption filed on behalf of Habitat for Humanity of Rutland County, HHRC, for property it purchased January 2nd, 2026 at 3092 Cold River Road. Although HHRC is a charitable organization, we have determined that it remains subject to the town's property taxes unless or until the town voters vote to exempt the property from payment of property taxes. Information regarding that process may be found on the Vermont Secretary of State's webpage. That's what I was given.
Any other questions?
From out here, I mean, is it possible for the select folks to ask the listers or like to help with getting this letter?
I'm hesitating because we're gonna end up as part of the decision-making group. And so we shouldn't involve ourselves in some of the telling other people what they should or shouldn't have done, because we should be the appeal body that takes a fresh look at things. I don't know if that makes sense. But you have perfectly competent counsel. So I would have a good conversation with him about next steps and how to put together the appeal and so on.
I've given Sharon to give to Matt. That's the statement I read.
Okay, good.
And Jeff, you're gonna look at 30 or 32. So I probably should just give this to you. Clerk.
Yes.
Maybe you could get a couple statements to that.
You have this.
People that you've done that, done housing
Okay.
habitat. It just shows,
Okay, thank you. I
you know,
appreciate
maybe
that.
the outcome that it
Okay,
was successful, but
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You have this on your computer. You can run up other copies for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if there are no other questions, I think we've mapped out
Okay.
next steps as best we can.
Thank you for your
And,
time.
we'll watch for notice of hearing.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming
Good
in,
luck.
Chris.
Thank you.
And thank you for your great organization and what you do. Oh, shows my bias.
Thank you.
Sit in on.
Could be. Okay. Let's start right down with Sears, Town Road Commissioner.
Sweet to the point.
We spent a couple days up in the neighborhoods off Killington Avenue, replacing some culverts. We got 2 more to do. I was on vacation last week, so I had the guys screening the millings that we have, because we've got about 20,000 square yards coming in shortly. So we need to make room. So we did that. And we started removing the asphalt at Center Rutland Fire Station today. About probably a third of it out. Wilkes going to be there at some point next week. Not sure what day just yet, but that's what I got.
Mowing? Roadside
We
mowing?
haven't started that yet. No.
You starting mowing?
The quantity business. Which means I want to wait a little longer to make sure I get every blade that's out there.
We've got a couple of highway things whilst you're here. We'll start with Mitchie and the culvert. Which is, you'll recall, and we've got minutes showing that we did approve the $159,000 Mitchie bid to purchase the culvert. And it was so they could get shop drawings going, and it was subject to the receipt of the stream alteration permit.
Yep. Which we got today.
Okay, so we have that.
Yeah, we did that.
And it looks like there is customer needs to sign, and that would be Town of Rutland. And it's in your packet. So
Yeah.
What's your pleasure with this? I mean, we sort of already approved it. But, I don't entertain another motion and designate who you want to sign.
Well, I think at this point, we actually give them the go-ahead to build it. The other motion was to allow for the shop drawings to be delivered so they could give us this. And then subject on the stream alteration permit till we can go ahead. So I'd move that we, authorize the chair to sign on behalf of the board and the town.
And to approve the,
And approve the amount of $159,045.28.
come from.
Uh,
Culvert line.
Yeah, it's the culvert line.
Oh, right, okay.
That's where we put that in. It's a little more than we had in there, but it'll balance out the end. But,
Motion's been made by Joe, seconded by Sharon. Any discussion?
the only question is this, so I was just reading through that in the setting of the culvert, that would be the crane services provided by the, construction, who does it?
Does that include in here as a cost?
No, it would be in the, bids for doing the job.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just reading through that and, I mean, the one thing that kind of caught my eye is the $1,400 surcharge for fuel. If anybody else noticed that? That's
For what?
fuel. That's the, since fuel has been going up and up and up from the 369 to where we are now, companies are charging a surcharge now on everything from fixing flat tires to delivering culverts. Yep. That's a substantial, which
That was part of the original bill, though.
well, I don't think it was maybe when they originally did this, but they worked it in there so they came out with the same price.
Yeah.
Okay,
That would be my
Yeah.
guess.
all
They
right.
can't, they did some finagling if it wasn't already in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I don't think we saw an itemized bill. We just had a quote.
Yeah.
Okay. So, motion's been made and seconded to, accept the Mitchie bid for the culvert itself. And you have the chair sign on behalf of the board. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Motion carries 5-0.
That takes care. You want to address the,
Yes.
construction contract?
Yes. And right, Kurt, you're recused and taking no part in these, especially the deliberations. Okay, so, we had some preliminary discussion. You'll remember that the chart was provided by Otter Creek Engineering and outlining each of the bids, comparing them and tallying internal calculations. And the question came up, this KT Hathaway was the low bidder at 189,
183.
183. But then Robert Clark, doing the comparables, found that there were some calculations that hadn't been done. And when they were done, his calculations brought that bid up to $399, $399,500. And then for all of the bids, he went through and compared whether they had all provided all of the necessary information. So there's he called it the bid irregularities chart, and that is a separate, that's the readable chart as opposed to the other chart, which had really teeny print. But he did note this. So we talked about this. How do we deal with this? At our last meeting, you asked me to be in touch with town council, Kevin Brown, which I did. Bill sent both charts and the information from Robert Clark up to Kevin, and we had a discussion. And then Kevin sent down sent to me, and I shared with the other participating board members what we should do when there are some irregularities in the bid. So that information's been provided to all of you. That's the part that Kevin provided to us, information on how we can proceed. So, what is your pleasure?
Everybody's quiet.
Well, let me start with, does anyone disagree with the way I've characterized that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have some, missing and incomplete stuff. Despite the fact that Kurt does have the lower bid, I think it's in our best interest if we award the contract to Waters. Only, and that would be my motion that we do that. And if you want,
Could you repeat that?
that I believe we should, award the contract to Waters Excavation. They had the second lowest bid at 255,000. Kurt's bid was 183. And that would be the motion that I would have. And I can either explain now my thoughts or we can do it under discussion. Your choice. If
Well, let's
somebody
start with, is there a second to that motion?
I want to make a motion that
There's a motion on the floor, so you either get to second the motion. Okay. All right. And we still need a second or,
I'll second this later discussion.
okay.
Oh, I just want to make sure that I understand what Otter Creek said. So looking at this, the one we can actually read, the almost all but two of these, actually the only one that was fairly complete with no footnotes was Markowski. But the Waters footnote, now he cut it off, but it's similar things that same notes appeared for other people. So it looks like what he's saying is he didn't write out something about the written dollar figure that was incomplete, and so he's making an assumption, which is the same assumption I think that he made birds. Except there's an additional note on Kurtz saying included the original bid form and not the updated one as it headed by addendum. So this sheet here, this chart, am I correct that this is Otter Creek's interpretation of what the bid totals were supposed to be for everybody,
Yes.
regardless of what they actually wrote?
Yep. I believe that's right.
So he came to the conclusion that Waters intended to write was 255 and what Kurt intended to write was 399. So if that's the case, then we, in awarding a bid, we're saying what's written here is what we're awarding. And if they dispute that, then we go back to the drawing board.
I don't believe so. Given what Kevin responded, if we accept that price, then, and that's what they put down, then that's what they have to do the job for.
Unless they say that's not what I put down. That's what Otter Creek put down.
No, the Otter Creek has the totals. And there was, it looks like there was some calculating errors in some of it. And there's some missing documents and stuff like that. So, but everything they asked for, according to the bigger sheet was there was some, I'm not sure, included bid items with which the written word did not describe the unit. So evidently when return the bid, there's a description of how you're calculating stuff. And I think that's what he was questioning. But the prices that are there are, to the best of our knowledge, accurate, and that's what they want to do the job of.
Okay, so I guess it followed the same methodology based on the set.
Right.
Went by the numbers instead of the words. I think is what it's saying. It's footnote. Which, so based on just what we're provided here, then I would agree that Waters would end up being low bidder. A fairly substantial That's usually very close, but that they go on. So.
So, in the only reason that, I thought we should go with the second lowest bid is that if there's a presumption by the public that we have made exceptions for one of our own board members, if there were some questions or something wrong, it would not put the town in a good light. And I don't want, and that was why if Kurt's bid at 183, which I believe is the accurate number, I don't believe, it was actually the 399. I think the 183 is the accurate number. And that's what he intended to put down. It's just that perception can be that we're making an exception for one of our board members or somebody in town. And that would put the town in a bad light, that, we're willing to forgive some inaccuracies for one of our own. And I don't want to put Kurt in that position, and I don't want to put the town. That's why it's a tough decision to make, but that was my rationale for coming up with
This
that.
is why I raised the procedural question last time, because if we can't, if the process would be not to ask Kurt what he meant, then I think we're constrained to go by the methodology that Otter Creek provided us, which doesn't say that he's the lowest bidder. It says that Waters is the lowest bidder.
Right,
So-
and if we go by that, then it may be, a calculation error, but to be fair to everybody, we're, like you said, we're not supposed to go back and say, if we give one a second chance, we have to do it. The only other avenue that we have, if we don't want to award this to Waters, and it could delay the process, and God forbid we should do that, is ask this to be rebid.
Yeah, reject all bids.
Reject all bids and start over and go from there. And
Sharon, you wanted to say something. You wanted to make a motion and I wouldn't let you, but you
Right,
certainly
so I
are
wanted to
entitled
make
to
a
speak.
statement.
Okay.
This is how I feel.
Mhm.
We as a board service our town. Does that mean because we are servicing our town, that if we have a company that does something that we're looking for, we have to ignore them because they're a town selectman? I think that's wrong. I think we have to look at the paperwork and not at Kurt Hathaway. And that's the way I feel, that if he's giving his time to the town, and he does, as all of us do, then we should not whitewash him off it because he's on the town select board.
And
We're not
Feels
ignoring,
uncomfortable.
we're
Right.
not ignoring his bid. And to his credit, there are a couple of, first of all, Robert Clark, who is our independent engineer, was the one who put this together.
Mhm.
So that was distancing Kurt and frankly, the rest of us until we actually had all of the comparisons. Secondly, Kurt did not participate in the highway committee meeting that went over these with Robert. And thirdly, he's been very good about not participating in this discussion. We're not saying he can't bid on projects, but we are saying he can't be the decision maker. Where
Right,
we
no,
need
and
to
I
decide one.
understand.
Yeah.
And you understand that what I said, Sharon, is that if there is some irregularity and we overlook it, perception is that we're favoring one of our own.
But
And
if there is an irregularity.
well, there is, according to
Then-
Robert's,
And that it's up to us to recognize that and to do something about that.
Yeah.
But to just, I
I,
don't know, I'm very uncomfortable.
I'm not
Decision.
rejecting his bid because
is.
he's one of us.
Because this is my feeling.
Right.
He lives in this town.
Yep.
He's gotta live with all of us on
Yep.
this board.
Yep.
He's gotta put up with all of us. So if he screws up, he's gonna have to pay the price for screwing up, just like anybody else. And
Right.
I don't think because anybody is on the board that they should not be considered. I'm not saying he has to be the answer, but I'm saying he has to have equal standing,
And he has. I believe.
and that's,
Do you think we've not treated him equally?
I didn't. Joey is insinuating, and I like Joey. I don't know why, but I like Joey. But he is insinuating that the people would look at it as though we were showing favoritism because he's on our board. And you know what?
No.
People, wait, let me finish. Not to Z. I just think we treat everybody equal. Not Kurt Hathaway because he's on the board, just Kurt Hathaway because he does that kind of work, just like anybody else that. And that's my feeling.
Saying that we're not going to accept the bid for this or is because of the irregularities of Robert was uncomfortable with the bid because of the things missing and some things differently. And if we overlook that as a board, is what I'm saying, and we award the contract, even though it's incomplete or it's not right, now we're showing favoritism.
I agree with you.
And that's why I didn't want to do this. Can I would take my vote back or my motion back if to take this back and make it.
Well, we don't want to say something first, so.
Well, I was trying to get you on the same page, and I think you are now. So I think you're saying the same
This
thing.
it has nothing to do
We just
with
wanna
who he
treat
is, where he
everybody.
is, or what he is. It has to do with the numbers.
I want to treat Kurt fairly with everybody else, the same as everybody else would be
Right,
treated.
and that's what I'm saying.
I think that was the impetus for Joe's motion.
Okay, so we've got Joe's motion on the floor right now, which is to go with Waters.
Can I, so if I undo my motion, he undoes the second, I'll make a difference.
If you withdraw your motion and the seconder agrees, yeah.
All right, then I'll withdraw my motion.
And the seconder, do you agree?
I was withdrawing it.
Because we just had this discussion, okay?
Right. So there's no motion on the
Guess I'll
floor.
go.
It's been withdrawn. By the
And
maker and by the seconder.
then I would move that we ask Robert to rebid the project,
What?
rebid the project. And
Motion's been made to rebid. Is there a second? So we'd be rejecting all of the bids made and we're gonna rebid the project.
Second.
And motion's been made and seconded, now discussion.
So-
and the reason being, I'm hoping that we can get by these controversies and we'll get another set of bids.
Yep.
Hopefully the same companies will bid.
Yep.
I don't know if Robert would be, if it's in the best, I think he should tell them what was missing or why. I don't know if we have to give him a reason or not, but we'll have to let that up to Robert. And I think that we put a 2-week turnaround on this, or since they've already done it, this should be fairly easy to do again.
I think these are public record now, so I think they can be shared with any of the contractors, so.
I don't want it to discourage people from.
Right.
So hopefully you would say to them, there were just so many irregularities in the bidding. We just want to make sure we understand whatever.
And the board, in an effort to be fair, decided to rebid the project.
Right.
Any further discussion on the motion to reject all bids and rebid the project? Ready for the vote?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor of the motion to reject and rebid, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 4-0, one abstention.
Yep.
Okay,
Can-
any
we-
idea of how long?
Can we put the monkey on the road commissioner's back, or do you want somebody to contact Dave or contact Robert and tell him what our decision is and
Shoot him an email and work.
Yeah,
And,
Yeah, he should.
and ask him what the proper procedure is. For identifying irregularities. Okay,
well, he's identified them, so ask what his procedure is.
Right, like-
Yeah,
I think, to be fair, he just needs to tell everybody that bid on the project what they did wrong.
invite them to take a look at the charts that he
Whatever,
prepared. I think
Right,
that's,
thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, I've never seen the bid sheet, so I don't know what it looks like.
Right, I have, none of us
Just
have,
saying,
which
it
is
was like-
good.
If you write in one number and then you write the words and it's different, you add them together, you multiply them together, it's some crazy formula that I don't know, but
Would you like to share that formula with us?
Nope, nope, we're keeping him out of it right now, okay? So he can
I know he can.
read a bid next time around.
Just plain particular
I
ignorance.
was gonna say, I meant a higher number,
Yeah.
this is always.
$450,000. But I'm just thinking that's,
Fuel surcharge.
Yeah, right.
All right, so that is, Dave is gonna get in touch with Robert Clark and see how quickly that can be rebid and, get the process going again, and hopefully we can get the project done. Still in a
we
timely
still have
manner.
time, yeah,
Yeah,
we still have time and until we make a decision, the companies that didn't get the job, we're still in the window.
yeah, hope so.
What's would the permit give us for a time frame?
July something till October.
Something.
It's 53.
Okay,
October 1st is the normal stream dates.
Okay.
Sometimes you can get a
all
waiver.
right, so that's probably gonna be, if it wasn't in the bids, it'll have to be added to the bid.
Oh, it's
set.
in there.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
so
we're good.
so I think the time is the same every year. It doesn't really change. It's just that they have to have it in hand. So, all right.
All righty, so anything else from our road commissioner?
The other thing that I just wanted to throw out there real quick, because it's on here, and I probably won't be here for the discussion, but the Honorable Mr. Greg is here.
Yes,
I'll sign off as a highway department on any impact that our construction will have on it.
as it doesn't really affect any town roads, does it?
Not really.
Okay.
We like the highway department.
We like you back. Anybody that'll put up with as much as you have from Act 250, shoot.
No new developments on the south end, sir.
No, we haven't. We didn't get down there last week because I was off, and we haven't been down there this week, but we'll get down there. And the last couple of times we've been down there, there's been silt, mud. We haven't really gotten any debris like bottles, cans, rubber squeegee things or anything like that. I got a 5-gallon bucket full of them from first few times we went, but for evidence, I can't wait till we bring that into a courtroom. But yeah, there's quite a bit of silt down there, and that shouldn't be in there either, but
All right. We'll have to,
our bottles which seem to have stopped.
okay. Very good.
Anything else for our road commissioner?
The 8:15 yet? Can't see a clock anymore.
No, it's really kind of low. Okay, thank you, Dave.
Have a good night. Thank you.
You too. All right, if folks are okay with that, shall we move on to Walmart and the municipal impact questionnaire?
Why not?
All righty. I'm looking for a blank copy of this. Okay, David, why don't you come up? And we've got Chris Clark from our fire department, and we had the fire committee meeting earlier. The police committee met. But let's start with the easy stuff. A blank one would be good. Yes, thank you.
One without a number on it.
I can follow along.
Yes, you may, except it's got other stuff, but you were here for that, so you know what it is. Okay. In your packet should be the municipal impact questionnaire. So let's go down through. Date this questionnaire was received. Oh, when we got it. We leave that blank.
A long time ago.
I think it starts clock, right? So something.
What?
Let's go down to rescue service, municipality does not provide this service, correct?
Right.
Road maintenance, municipality does not provide this service. That loop road is yours. Yeah. Solid waste disposal.
Yep.
We don't provide the service. Water supply. We kind of do. It's the cities. The city water goes through it. Bill, do we do?
So the water, we don't issue the allocation for water.
Right.
We're kind of just passed through the city. The city has to provide a letter that says, yes, they have the allocation to build a provide service for that.
Okay.
We don't, and that's in the application.
Somewhere in
Do
there.
they have to buy an application for the sewer, or where does it go with the property?
The sewer discharge allocation follows the property.
Yeah.
They haven't said, we haven't seen anything that says like, if they're expecting to exceed what was there, but they probably won't. So
You don't know offhand what that
I
is.
think it was 3,000 gallons a day, maybe. I'd have to go back and look.
Okay, so help me out here. Water supply, the municipality doesn't provide this service, but do we repair any pipes?
Technically,
Yeah,
Technically, we do.
well, yeah, so,
technically, there are mains.
yeah,
They are our mains.
so I would say we do. It's just the city provides the water. We have the infrastructure,
Okay,
because they will be paying an O&M on that. The same with the sewer. But there'll be a water and sewer contract that just passes through the city. Be just like any other one down there.
so the question with this is, do we have the capacity to provide the following service without unreasonable burden? This is water.
Yeah.
Okay. To the point where we're providing the pipes to get the water.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
And that similar question, sewage disposal.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, and this is. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. Now, let's go back up to, road maintenance. So everything's taken care of but fire and
Please.
police. So let's start with fire. Fire committee met. Kurt and Sharon and Chief Clark. So the question is, do we have the capacity to provide fire protection without unreasonable burdens from this project?
We do.
Okay. Is there anything else I know one of the discussions early on was about similar fixtures, making sure that.
Yeah, that was just like fittings for hose and stuff. I did get a call from the city fire chief asking, be minded if they presented a contract to Walmart. Not really my decision, that's Walmart's decision, so.
To provide
Fire protection.
fire protection services. Why would they contract to do so?
The city's looking for money,
Well, there's that.
but
Yeah.
Walmart might want to. The reason why GE does it is because it helps with their insurance rates.
You know my position on that.
I think it's in their head because mall first opened, the city was contracted for the first couple of years. I think the mall realized we didn't need to pay that because the town was doing it adequate.
Yeah.
If that was an unsprinkled building in a remote area, then I'd say maybe yes. But fully sprinkled building,
So
you guys will decide what you want to do.
well, the question for us is, do we, as the town, have the capacity to provide fire services without unreasonable burden? And fire committee, you agree with that?
Yes, but
Okay.
they did ask for Mary.
Chris did have a list of things that would help with the building.
Chris, can you come up and explain the radio situation so that everybody knows it's good? Because I have to screw it up and
First of all, we're not trying to get new equipment out of Walmart. We want Walmart.
Yeah, they're not gonna give us
just
a fire truck, but.
No, didn't even ask for that. We were just hoping there was some standpipes in the building. So in our trucks, we carry pre-made hose,
Air-ice pack.
high-rise packs that hook to standpipes. We test our hose every year. Every year we lose hose, so we put a little list together of some 1 3/4, 2.5 inch hose, couple nozzles, nothing super expensive really. Maybe 2 positive pressure fans, one for each station. Vent if there's ever any smoke in there. And our number one thing would be, we have 7 officers, so 7 dual band radios. So if something was going on, we could actually talk to the city on our radios without carrying 2 radios at a time.
So what do we do with that?
Just ask if they want to provide it. If they say no, you're still welcome to come to Rutland Town.
But we'd like it better if you went along with it.
I have a quick question. It's Joe Anthony. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, Fire Chief. Any idea? Can you quantify the costs back of the napkin? I'm not gonna, is it 10,000? Is it 100,000? Is it $50?
I don't even think it would be 10,000. Well, I take that back. The radios themselves for 7 of them would probably be 20,000. So if you just had to pick one, I would take the radios. Again, we're not looking for money here. We have a lot of equipment already.
Done. Agreed. Your list is agreed. We'll figure it out. But Walmart or the developer, whether it's Walmart or the developer, done.
He just gave us the radios.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
So, and that will cover...
Joe, can you just clarify, did you say done to the radios or to the list?
Yes, please.
Again, I thought I heard the whole list was 10,000. The radios might be 20. I think I'm saying done to all of it. We'll figure it out. Obviously, I'd like to have firemen that are well equipped, whether it's a donation or some other form. We'll take care of that.
Well, we appreciate that very much.
So how would you like to quantify that? Will cover, CIA will cover the cost? Or do you want to do a flat 30,000? For standpipes, 2 positive pressure fans, 7 dual band radios.
I think it's appropriate to say that the property owner, and in support of the application, has confirmed for the select board that the list of equipment identified by the chief during the meeting on June 2nd, 2026, is agreed upon as an obligation of the property owner in support of the select board's affirmative finding with respect to fire services in the Act 250 Municipal Impact Questionnaire.
I just ran out of room. But I think...
That's all right. It's just been recorded.
Okay.
His explanation probably cost me another 20,000. How much time is it?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe, very much. Okay. So Bill, that's going to be a verbatim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, fire is good then with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Chris, maybe if you want to just pick bolts and
Yeah, I will.
I will exactly what you want. Probably that's what I do about that.
Okay, and
Set me up here.
police protection. Now, Joe did what any good attorney did and listened to our police committee report or discussion. And if you look at, on your desk, we do have the police committee minutes of the meetings. The bottom line is we were trying to, and Ted got quite a bit of information from city department and calls that they responded to at the address for Walmart downtown. And he did two sets of numbers. One was for calls in 2025, which were 470 calls to that address. If you look at, it's the fourth bullet down. And the other thing to double check, he got the numbers for April of 2026, and there were 37 calls to that address, 17 of which were retail theft. And Ted was explaining to us the retail theft then generates the paperwork and the police report, and then the apprehension and the arrest or the citation of the suspect and interviews and so on. So once we hit that, there's more activity involved. So we know that there will be a burden on the police department. I think we discussed this a little bit. The question is undue, and we were trying to quantify, because right now we're short-staffed in the police department. And Matt was in on the police committee meeting as well. So if I misstate something, let me know. And basically we thought we're going to have to we can add a patrol to our routine, and that's not going to add anything. It's the direct calls for service to the Walmart area, the building, the parking lot, people running into each other in the parking lot and those sorts of things. So, the police committee thought that we should be looking at the amount of $125,000 a year, which is roughly what it would take to hire an officer to kind of cover, not dedicated that one officer, but to add to the coverage for that area, and the equipment and the cruiser and the admin time. So we thought,
It's not going to cover a cruiser, but
no, not the whole cruiser, but it will go toward
The license on
the cruiser will cost that much by then.
well, by then it will, yeah. So that was our request, and I think there's a response that Mr. Drake has for us.
So, with Mr. Anthony also participating, let me go through what we want to propose based upon our review of the minutes from last night's meeting. Okay? So, the first thing is that we would need the funds to be earmarked for the police department. And it sounds like, based upon Mary's description of the anticipated costs, that that is something we're in agreement, that the funds that would be paid, that are being discussed, would be earmarked for the police department. The next requirement would be that the money that's being paid is for the benefit of the property. That is the property which is owned by BAI Rutland LLC, and not just the Walmart store, because as you know, there are incidents which will have occurred and will continue to occur, likely, which will be on the property, but which will not be on the Walmart portion of it. And so we need to have the understanding that calling upon the town of Rutland police would be included or acceptable in the context of this payment, and that the response by the police department would be in the ordinary course, with the understanding that you're not a 24-hour police department, and that there's a set of procedures which are used based upon the calls, time of day, the other factors. So the most recent experience that I had personally was a few weeks ago when we were meeting up there. There was just all of a sudden on it would have been on that Tuesday. Turns out there's a camper, two people in a camper, It's not a motorized camper. They just park their camper at the top of the road. And first I tried calling the Rutland Town Police and got the answering services. So we were able to get the state police. So again, just in the ordinary course for matters affecting the property, not just the Walmart.
Can I ask one question about
Yeah.
that? And that is, with the Walmart as proposed and the property as it exists around the Walmart, and if there's any further build out of the property, that's a different story.
Well, I think that, I mean, I
We
think
can make an argument then.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
And that context that you just described is something that that framework is a good segue into what I've looked at from the minutes and which I have written now, but which Mr. Anthony and I didn't have a chance to discuss. So in your minutes, you were saying 125,000 per year and discussed the length, or whether or not there should be an escalator. So you included in your minutes the idea that what we're talking about today might change. And so at least with respect to the duration, I think either we could come to a mutual agreement as to what the initial time frame should be, or alternatively, the parties, meaning my client, the applicant for the permit, as well as the select board, could make a request of the district commission if we're unable to reach an agreement as to what the initial term should be. Once you have that initial term, it becomes part of the project, then any change thereafter is going to be a material change. And it's going to reopen a permitting requirement, because I think what we're talking about is making what we're discussing conditions of an Act 250 permit. So any subsequent change is going to, well, any subsequent material change, which if it were to be a change in payments, variations in service, future expansion, is going to require permit amendment, and the very issues that we've been discussing and working our way through will again be on the table. So without having anything definitive, my possible solutions are, again, we can have a discussion now or later as to what the initial term should be. If the parties can't reach an agreement, then the parties would be able to propose an initial term to the district commission. Or you might say, no, it's this amount for the duration of the project and this kind of escalator. And my client would say, well, we think it should be for this period of time, subject to further review. So I have a proposal, I guess.
Either length or escalator or.
I do have a framework of proposal. I think, first of all, the obligation shouldn't become final and binding until 6 months after the permit itself becomes final and binding. What I mean by this is we don't know when the permit will be issued. There's then a 30-day appeal period. There's a 15-day motion to alter period. Then there is the potential for appeal. And I do not believe my client is going to want to pay this money unless and until it has a final and binding permit. So that would mean after the expiration of all applicable appeal periods.
Okay.
Okay.
And that would address one of my concerns, which is we're probably going to get calls up there during construction.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't be starting construction until you have a final and binding permit.
Correct.
And in that case, and in the meantime, there will probably be another camper parked up there, and there will be fencing knocked down. And are we then under the old permit, which says that you folks have a contract with the sheriff's department or some?
Well, I think in terms of what we're doing now and the demolition, and setting up the fencing, is that we now have, Joe has engaged, Hubbard, correct?
Yeah.
Hubbard and Belden, such that there are, services in place to monitor the property. My expectation of how it works is that, again, to the extent that we have, let's use the camper, it's a good example. It's not a life-threatening emergency. We do need police services to peaceably have the person removed. We can make a call to the town police department. It's obviously going to fall within its demands on service. And its priority will fall based upon what the police department's being asked to do at that given moment. If it gets delayed, if it gets referred over to the state police, that is what we are anticipating continuing. So I don't believe there's any plan, given what's going on now, to have on-site sheriff services.
Matt?
So I just want to clarify the timeline. So, first of all, so you're not planning to this point to begin demolition until this permit is final and binding,
Correct.
right? And so, final and binding, if things go well, we're talking late fall this year.
I would think earlier, if things go well. Oh no, time is of the essence, and that's why I'm here.
Sure.
Ready, authorized to. Well, no, I'm explaining it to you. No, I understand. I'm explaining it to you. Time is of the essence. There has to be enough time to get the permit, let it go final and binding, and then engage those who are necessary for the demolition services. And so that time frame, as you work your way back, is shortening. As the days get longer, is shortening. So the commitment to pay the $125,000, and that is the commitment, is contingent upon the municipal impact questionnaire issue being resolved today and a favorable vote. And then in a best case scenario, I would think we could have a final and binding permit before September.
Okay. So then your proposal is 6 months after that, which would work well for our schedule if that's true, because what would happen, I think, for our purposes is the end of this year, we're preparing our budget to begin next June 1.
Right.
And what we would do is then budget for an additional position in the police department.
Yep.
And these things would end up coinciding.
Yep.
In a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
You have a length of the initial contract or the initial agreement. Do you have a proposed number of years?
I think it should be 3 years,
3 years.
but it's 3 years with the understanding that at that point, it's up to the parties to discuss what changes, if any, should be made or whether it should continue. And I'd like to just take a moment to explain why I'm saying that. And it relates to the purpose of an Act 250 permit condition. So I'm going to do a little brief explanation. All right. Act 250 permit conditions, I consider them to be what I call but-fors, right? But for the payment, you would say there's a problem. But with the payment, terms to be decided upon as we discussed, there's no problem, right? So, but for the payment, there would be a problem. With the payment, there isn't. The question is, to what extent will that problem continue to exist? There are projections around what the town will receive in local option tax as well as property taxes. Your perspective is, well, we don't know what that will be in the future. And actually our perspective, we make educated guesses, right? Experts can make educated guesses, but ultimately we're going to end up with data. And in that regard, the obligation to ensure no ongoing impact to the municipality can be a permit condition, which can be anticipated to be reopened and discussed again, and if necessary, decided by the district commission if you can't come to a successful agreement. Or it could be closed. And I'll give an example that I was personally involved in with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Vermont up in Berlin. The district commission, when Blue Cross issued its permit, when the district commission issued Blue Cross's permit for the office expansion, said there's a problem with an intersection by the hospital. So the commission said, we're going to hold open the permit to impose an impact fee for the eventual improvement of the intersection. This condition resulted in increased insurance premiums because then it was being carried on the books by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Eventually, Blue Cross Blue Shield wanted to close the permit condition, and through a series of studies by traffic experts, it was demonstrated that the anticipated impact, which was going to necessitate substantial physical improvements, never materialized, and the matter was mitigated by changes in signalization. So what I'm trying to explain is that we don't know what it's going to look like after you're collecting revenue for 3 years. We don't know what it's going to look like after you're collecting revenue for 5 years. We don't know what it's going to look like when you've been collecting revenue for 10 years. I would assume that the amount of revenue you're going to collect in some respects is going to fluctuate based upon the economy. I would assume. So it's not necessarily going to be a fixed revenue stream. There's going to be some variability to it. So subject to my client telling me I'm all wrong, which, I have no problem when they do that. I'm suggesting that there's going to be a period of time where this payment addresses a but-for need. And then there's going to be a period of time where, based upon actual data, we're going to know, both you and the owners, what the actual need is. And that can be addressed in the form of future negotiations. If peaceful and it results in agreement, that's great. But ultimately, the leverage is what's called a material change in Act 250. So if you, for some reason, felt that the payment was insufficient, you'd have the opportunity to say, look, we think more needs to be paid. And if you don't agree, we're going to go ask the district commission to rule that there's a material change, and we're going to seek to reopen the permit under Criterion 7 municipal services.
So, but your suggestion is initially the permit would say this permit is open for review on this provision.
I would do it after 3 years. I would do an initial term of 3 years. And just to finish the hypothetical, it's entirely possible that my client's going to say, wow, we see what you're collecting. We look at your costs, and we don't think the payment is necessary anymore to ensure that there's no unreasonable impact on municipal services. So I want to be clear that the future and the reopening could cut either way. It goes both ways. But the point is that there should, I think there should be an initial term. I think data should be collected. And then I think the party should sit down, look at that data, look at what it costs actually, look at what the revenue is actually, and put forth a good faith effort to decide what's necessary to achieve that balance of no unreasonable impact, with the understanding that if the parties can't come to an agreement, they can always hire lawyers and go fight in Act 250. I won't be here, by the way.
Our committee agrees.
No, I mean it. I mean it. I won't be here in 3 years. I can promise you that.
So our committee, agreed that this wouldn't be permanent. We believe that eventually this cost will be covered by the increased revenue. There's some debate and speculation about Jeff Carr's data and some discussion about he was going to go back and relook at some things. But I think your effort here is to
I would,
agree that there's some ambiguity here and that there's a way to address that. I think that
I
makes
would
sense.
sort of go, instead of 3 years, go 5 years, because I think that's about when his projection hits $1 million in revenue. And then once we, $1 million increase in revenue, that would cover, for the town, the expenses of the policing services. If we don't hit it, does that then become a material change, or we sit down and look at it and say, hey, we didn't hit $1 million? And we also have this little, you probably know this, but the state doesn't give us individual companies and businesses and how much they individually generate. They give us a lump sum, 3-4 times a year, and there's no division, and we can't get it.
I understand that.
So we have to rely on your data. And that's,
Well, I think there's an economic incentive for there to be a confidential sharing of data. I do believe, even with the application of the open meeting law and public records, that confidential data necessary to negotiation of contracts and resolution of litigation has some levels of protection.
well, I mean, that may be true, but we're a town, so we are much more subject to the open meeting law than a private business is.
No, I acknowledge
That's why
that.
you got the minutes and you saw how we were talking about this. So
But I acknowledge that. And what I'm saying is that I think that even with the open meeting law and the public records law, there's an incentive for the taxpayer to make available site-specific data. Now, I can't promise you that.
Yeah.
But I think if you have a permit condition, which is requiring a payment, and you're saying that it's not required anymore because there's sufficient revenue, and the municipality says, well, we don't know who it's coming from, then it might be incumbent upon the taxpayer to say, well, we do, and we can show you what it is. And then again, through the process of negotiation and writing a contract, which becomes a permit condition, which then means you have the ultimate trigger of a material change, verification can be made through a second period of time. Right? If there's data and you're like, well, we don't know if it came from you, and you says, well, here's what we think it is. And there's, a way to verify that, then, there's going to be internal data.
it's just based upon our past experience, not with you, but just trying to get information on who was paying the 1% tax in our town and who wasn't. It's not that easy.
Right. And it wouldn't be coming from the state source. It would be coming from the taxpayer.
Right. Yeah, right. I mean, if Walmart's willing to ante up the information to verify they're generating this much options tax to alleviate our need for the, and it might be in their best interest
It may
to
be.
do that,
It may be.
because we don't have these agreements with anybody else because others are smaller impacts. So,
Right.
Ted, is that what is your thoughts on the length of this agreement? As police chief.
Discussed 5 because of just based off of Jeff Carr's projections. That's what it came down to.
They're proposing 3.
Proposal from Walmart was, here's our figures. Around year 5 is when it started to really break that corner, make that turn and go over that hump. My 2 cents is that we discussed it at the committee level. We needed 5 years was where it was at.
So.
We wanted it forever, but.
But that's not reality. So.
5 is kind of when you folks were hitting the $1 billion revenue.
Well, no, it's not. According to Jeff's numbers, there's a significant increase in year 5, but it doesn't get into it. 9.
Huh.
But I mean, who knows?
Right. This is looking in a crystal ball, Matt,
Right,
and
and I
trying to
don't know
come
why
up with a
you
number.
zeros at the beginning either, so I think it's gonna be revenue right away.
Well,
Yeah.
Um,
See how reasonable we're being, David?
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I suppose 4 years would do it, but you know, again, Mr. Anthony's gonna have to provide the final word. So,
First off, you've never said anything wrong, David. So I would never say that. Let's go back to a couple minutes ago. So of course, everything you say is gospel. Just sometimes people don't listen to you, but I always listen to you. You know, I just want to stress that this project has been going on a long time, and I appreciate your efforts throughout it. We are at a tipping point. So if 5 years is what gets us a done municipal questionnaire, so I can have an Act 250 permit, and we can all do what we desperately want to do, which is tear down that old building and build a new one. You know, I'm all for it.
Okay, thank you. So that's 5 years from when it starts,
Okay.
which is 6 months after.
yeah.
Roughly, yeah, or somewhere in that vicinity.
You guys,
I'm good.
all right?
That 5 fiscal years?
Well,
It'd be
If we,
5 calendar years from date of his inception,
that's what I would say.
like that. I don't know where that came from.
I mean, it's actually, it could be a split year. That's
Right,
all.
I mean-
It'll be in 2 different fiscal years if you guys start 6 months after.
Exactly.
Right,
in
so
that-
it could be like,
Exactly.
say, April
Exactly.
2027.
Right. And the last issue is also of significance. We want the select board's unanimous vote. We want it tonight, and we want your support of the application as proposed. Because we want to get a permit and we want to get going. And we want to know that the select board supports this project. And as Mr. Anthony explained, time is of the essence. So we're here to work out the details which are required so that you can take a vote tonight.
That's why we're here. And frankly, we've been wanting to see this occur. And we were a little dismayed that the demolition didn't, so. All right, so what's your, so I think we have, and I don't know who's, I mean, we've got the list of the fire things. We've got that taken care of.
You want to dictate, you want to take a shot at dictating it back to the house, take this on the floor.
Yeah.
You did it so nicely the first time.
So we got the funds earmarked for the police department.
Right.
And
Yeah.
frankly, those guys are gonna be like hawks on it anyway, so there's no way we'd be allowed to use it anywhere
Yep.
else, so. That it will be, the impact fee is for police services to the property.
For the benefit of the
The
property.
benefit of the property, not just the Walmart store. And that the 125,000 will be paid per year for 5 years. The beginning is 6 months after the permit issues and all appeals have run.
Becomes final and binding.
Yeah, which,
When you can actually start digging.
and then goes,
Well,
yeah,
Just let me explain. Technically, once the permit's issued, it's valid.
Yeah.
So technically, we could start digging once it's issued. But it's not final and binding until all applicable appeal periods expire.
And that takes roughly 6 months.
No, it takes 30 days
30
from the
okay.
date when the permit is issued, assuming there's no appeal.
so why are we doing 6 months and not 30 days?
Cause he's anticipating if there's a appeal, they wanna
Well,
have a little spot in the
but
middle.
then that just puts off the appeal.
Uh-huh.
If there's an
No, I
appeal,
can
or if
give you a
there's
better,
a
I can give you a
vacancy.
better answer.
Okay.
Okay.
The better answer is that,
course you want that friend one.
in the initial 6-month period,
Yeah, I see a
the real ramping up is to do the demolition,
Kidding.
not open up the Walmart. So if we're looking at this as an impact fee for the property in anticipation of the Walmart, then it makes sense that there would be a period of time for the demolition to occur and the payment obligation to then come to fruition, because my client's relationship doesn't become economically beneficial until it's able to deliver certain tangibles for the Walmart project.
The only little concern would be during the demolition, if we have an increased need for the PD because of some kind of vandalism or some kind of problems up there with the equipment that's up there. That would kind of be on us for a period of time. But that's
Technically, yes. I think honestly that Belden, as well as the services that Joe engages, are going to be responsible for ensuring that Belden's equipment is protected and the fence is maintained. So again, you asked, Mary, you asked why, and my answer is because essentially first 6 months is for demolition. And we believe that we have in place what's required to not create an undue burden to the municipality with respect to police services. And that once there's a transition to the construction and delivery of the Walmart, that it makes sense for the payment obligation to become effective. So that's my explanation to your question.
I thought you were gonna toss in a little something more, but that's okay.
Tell me. Generally, I think you don't like it when I talk too much, so I try and, measure my words.
No.
I have a question.
Mhm.
We're looking at Joe and it says support. Support what? On your shirt.
Oh, on your shirt?
Oh, sorry, say that again.
You may have to stand up.
What's oh
I've been sitting here looking at.
live music?
All right.
Thank you.
Should we make that a condition of the permit?
Yeah. I sing in a chorus, Rutland area chorus. So there you go. Okay, and so with all of these, you want our support of the project.
Yeah,
And a unanimous vote, okay?
And again, my understanding is that this is all being recorded.
Yes,
And I think it's fair to say that the recording is a true and accurate representation of the discussion and the meeting of the minds of the parties.
as long as we vote accordingly.
Exactly.
I have not yet done that, so.
I know.
Okay. Is there a motion, or Matt, you have another
I
question?
would like to make a motion.
Alrighty.
Second.
With the conditions that's discussed regarding the permit and this work.
Okay. And
Third.
Sharon seconded the motion.
Third.
Yeah, I know Kurt really wanted to.
Oh, yes.
Any further discussion? Okay,
Do we need a separate vote to, put our wholehearted support behind this, or is this vote good enough?
Oh, yes.
I don't,
I mean, if
It's
you're,
encompassed within the
Okay.
ambit of the discussion, such that as far as I'm concerned, the motion is including everything we've discussed and reached mutual agreement upon.
okay. That's spoken like a lawyer.
accused me of saying that earlier, so what the hey? Okay, any further discussion? If not, all in favor of approving the municipal impact questionnaire for this project, with our support and with covering the conditions as we have discussed here. All in favor, please say aye.
Do you want like a hand vote, just so that,
Well, let's see. I can do it real quick. Kurt Hathaway.
Aye.
Joe Denardo.
Aye.
Matt Getty.
Aye.
Sharon Russell. Mary Ashcroft. Aye.
Okay.
There's your
That's,
I like that better. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Don't invite the city mayor to the ribbon cutting.
We had a business, a local business that was open, and the city got invited. They invited the mayor and they forgot to invite us, so we get catchy about stuff like that.
I'll leave it to the town attorney to advise you on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Mr. Anthony.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
And
travels.
when are you've got to listen to the minutes and you've got to put all of this and addendums and so on.
Are you signing that so I can attach it to it?
No, because it's a mess. And Joe talked too fast. And
The motion was for Mary to sign.
then, no, not Joe this time. David talked too fast. Is that, I mean, we're gonna go through the minutes, you're gonna go through the minutes, you're gonna see a draft, I'm sure, so let's just make sure
Put
we're,
together a draft, circulated amongst all of us.
Okay.
And, our goal, of course, is to provide it to the State Act 250 District Coordinator who did today tell me that this is the last piece of the puzzle, which you filed with him to have the application complete. So obviously I'm ready to assist in any way. We have the benefit of video recording.
Mhm.
And
okay, we'll get, today's Tuesday. Yeah, next day or so should be able to,
thank you to the police department as well.
yes, okay.
So it was still like the highway department law.
Live music. Okay.
That's right. I think you could send us out a
You bet. Ask.
All right, we've got other stuff to cover. Thank you all. Chris Clark, Town Fire Chief.
Sales. I did the reverse after he was given.
We've talked about the parking lot. He started ripping it up today, him and the guys. Tomorrow he's going to lift up our generator so we can put our shelf under it. Gas company came today and disconnected it and they'll come back as soon as it's on the stand, they said.
You guys come up with a plan to handle the water? Isn't there something about the eaves troughs and the water? And well, he had it dug up. He wanted to put something in to make sure the water doesn't puddle the pool.
Oh, the generator?
No, for the when you're
gutters.
digging up for your
Oh,
gutters.
yeah.
So do you have
He's gonna put like a dry well in. He's gonna dig a gaping hole and fill it full of stone with a dry well in there. And then he's gonna hook the pipe back to the original pipe just in case it can't handle it. But
I don't know how porous the ground or how the ground is and how much, that's a lot of square feet of roof.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that if they ran, since you got it dug up, a pipe out of that dry well area, like almost into the culvert under the driveway, so that it would just leave. Because it's buried all the way, the rest of the way around Johnson.
it is. The problem is, like what we have right now is the pipe, it's not deep enough, so it freezes.
Okay.
So the water coming down the gutter doesn't go anywhere except across the parking lot. It turns into a skating.
That's what I'm saying, if that water is going into a hole in the ground, just as long as that hole in the ground will either handle it or move it away, because otherwise it's just going to fill up and it's just going.
Right.
So I know Dave knows what he's doing, but just,
Yeah.
and him and I have talked about it a little bit, because the other thing is, while you got it dug up, you might be able to get it down deeper
Mhm.
or put a couple layers of styrofoam over it.
He's got a plan.
Okay.
It's either that or put grass there like it was supposed to be originally 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So we got that generator. Last week, Saturday, I got a call. There's no water at the station over here, so West Rutland's putting that giant reducing valve in, and there's a valve in the ground that they thought didn't go anywhere. Turns out it goes to the fire station. So I called West Rutland and they came over after he was done golfing, I think. Turned it back on, so no big deal, but that's where the valve is if anybody's ever looking for it.
Is that where the construction work is?
Yeah, right next to the bridge.
Right,
That's where
okay.
they're putting that reducing valve.
Okay.
Which is after the fire station. So
Yeah, really?
we have reducing valve inside the building.
Okay. Why do they look, I guess that's probably a more convenient place to locate it rather than in your yard.
Yeah, I'd rather not be in our yard, so.
Yeah.
But, we got all our flow testing done on our air packs. The bill's in your somewhere.
We approved it.
Yeah.
Perfect. There's 6 more to do. His machine broke, so he'll be back. I ended up buying the tires for the tanker and for 41. which was about close to $8,000, which is in there also. I was gonna wait, but you can only keep a tire for 10 years, and our engine one's gonna be 10 years old next year, so I gotta buy 6, then 2 more for engine 4, so why we had the money.
This is all out of capital or is it
No, it's all out of
equipment?
truck maintenance.
Okay.
Were the takeoffs worth anything or did they not?
They probably were, but he told me down there that it's not just for fire trucks. They wouldn't put those tires on any vehicle if they're 10 years old.
We talked about putting them on highway, but no.
Yeah, he said no.
Okay.
I mean, I could have kept them and somebody could have put them on.
Who did them for you?
Pete's. Yeah, that's where we always go. So
I know this stuff.
yeah. So next year, I think next October, whenever, we might have to start adding a little more money to the budget. Everything's getting so expensive. Just sprinkler testing and everything to do with just one station is, I mean, I think we're quite a bit over just in station maintenance, just for having one building. Look at that.
There's a lot of unforeseen costs this year.
Yeah. And fuel.
Fuel.
That's all I got. Should you have a question?
Questions for our fire chief? Yep.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for meeting and your suggestions about the municipal impact questionnaire.
All right, no problem.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Yep.
You too. Mike Rowe, Town Rec Director. Marie Faignant is not here. She did say that she had a couple of things that she'll be bringing in next meeting, and that is we still need to decide on the NEMRIC versus some other system for getting ready for reappraisal. That's one. And she also wanted to take a look at the subdivision ordinance because she had a couple of things that might be worth calling to our attention. So those 2 things out there for next time. Mike Rowe.
Good evening. Let's see. 7-3 is moving along with planning.
Yes.
The banners went out for print this week. So hopefully there'll be one at the top of the park. And there's obviously another meeting in April. April and I have a meeting, and we're just again waiting on the food truck part, but I did talk to the chief. She's going to bring a truck for that night too. Just kind of park it up there.
Okay.
Show a little town representation.
Yep.
The 8/16, our Rutland Town Community Day is going well. Bill mostly, we got a banner that's out to print with the posters that will get to school.
Good.
As soon as they're printed. It's also posted up at, it's actually, there's one here. There's also inside the clerk's office, there is a banner for 7-3. So if you want to look to see what that's like.
Is there also?
Oh, there's one in the hallway too. Yeah,
Are you
perfect.
putting flyers for 7-3 at school so the kids can take them home?
We can. We'll probably go social media blast with that. But yes, we can bring some for school too. That's up to me.
City
Yeah.
was doing the flyers for 7-3. We were doing them for ours.
Okay.
Yeah. We got 2 different flyer things going on, but
Okay.
we don't want to cross them right away because we don't want people to get confused. That's the last thing we want to do.
That's pretty easily done, Michael.
There was an incident. We had to switch. We now have a DJ for our townwide day. DJ Brett is coming for the whole length of time. So that's a change.
So he's
than what
at
I had.
townwide in August?
Yes. He's also doing the 3rd as well, but we will have live entertainment as well.
Okay.
So we'll have both. Well, we have 2 different locations. So we have music down in a couple of things. Yes. Brett does a nice job. Lifeguards are all set. I sent the list to Kari. If you want, she can share the list with you. I have the list of who I hired and who's returning and what their rate is compared to what their rate was before. As I said a couple of times when we budgeted, that minimum wage went up, so everybody's wage changed significant. So for example, one person, if they made $14.25 last year, they're up to $15.25. So they all jumped about $1 because minimum wage jumped up. So I can't start somebody at 15 and somebody's making $4.25. That's $14.25. It's not really fair. Make less than somebody who's just starting. So that's all set.
Was there in years past, the select board had to approve the lifeguards because you had a relative.
I have none.
You have none. Okay.
That was like a couple year deal, but thank you for remembering that. No, there is nobody affiliated with me. I guess that's a good thing. Signups tonight when I left, there were 35 passes were already sold, which is above what we normally do. So that was moving well, and I'm headed back over there to collect it once I get done, and we're doing that tomorrow night as well. The pool is ready for this weekend. If we get weather, it's all ready to go. Any fixes have been made, and it's looking pretty good. The guards and the people that did the work did a really nice job with painting and cleaning it up. And she looks good for 50 or right around there. Baseball is in its last month, actually its last 2 or 3 weeks. And then we're moving on to soccer. And then of course we have our summer concert series or jam, whatever you want to call it, up at the pool in July. And our senior lunch, we are going back to the Ethan Allen on the 23rd.
We are on the.
We are. The other one was, shall we say, a bit more expensive, quite a bit. And I wasn't really, I was being more frugal. So people have been responding. So we are going back to the Ethan Allen with our seniors on the 23rd of June. And we want to try it. Other than that, I don't think I have much. Oh, yes, tomorrow. Thursday, I'm meeting. We had our pool meeting with the company last week. And we had Sharon was there, Don Chaffee was there, and Peter Wallet was there. The other people could not make it, and they told me we met with the company. They're actually coming in on Thursday. They're meeting with me for about 4 hours to start the boots on the ground. What's going on? The architect will come in another week or so, but we're meeting at the pool on Thursday. Bill's going to attend. They recommend that we don't need a bazillion people there. It's more like, how does the pool run? What is, the systems and the mechanicals and all that stuff like that. So they're coming in on Thursday. And then hopefully the week after that, then the architect and Jack, the other guy, will be there for more information that they're gathering for data. If that makes sense. Okay. Anybody have any
Questions
for me? None? Well, okay.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted on what's happening.
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you.
Thursday. No, next
Thursday.
Thursday.
I'm hoping that I'm there, but I have an appointment in the early part of the day, and I know to what extent I'm going to be wanting to move. So my goal is to be there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ted Washburn's police chief. We did have a police committee meeting. Most of it was around Act 250. There were a couple of other things in that you want to highlights.
Yes, hiring officers, work in progress. Some applications have been received. There's a couple people to interview, which we'll be doing with. Oh,
Yeah,
true.
it'll be internal.
SRO we've discussed before. We talked about budget items and the need to, of course, address Cortina funds at the end of the fiscal year, which is coming up shortly. So we will once again try to make an intelligible motion to accomplish what we need to do. Carry over funds that don't need to be expended.
Bill, if you could add to the agenda for next meeting, motion on carrying over Cortina funds, and there's usually some other one that Kurt makes. Now, what is it's related to?
We have 2 more meetings this month too.
Do we?
It's that
Yeah.
one.
We meet on the 29th. or the 30th. We started, yeah, so we have 3 meetings this month.
Yeah, so we might want to do it next meeting in
Whatever
case we
your
run
choice
into a
is.
snarl.
Yep.
Yeah,
You do just to carry over the 14 funds.
Yeah.
yeah, and there was something
Not
about
allow
the
them to-
police fund.
Oh, to
The
offset
tax
the
adjustment.
deficit.
Yeah.
Offset the deficit of the police budget with the Cortina funds. Right, it's also part of the
Okay.
same.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
So.
I'll look back at June last year and see what we did.
Yeah. Probably good.
Yes, right.
You know,
Yeah, give us a script.
And then
before-
make sure you run it by Kari, because I don't think we were that clear with the auditor what we actually voted on, so.
Pretty
it would
solid,
be-
we're about some discussion after.
Yeah,
I thought we used in the
Let's not-
past, we put 1% options tax money toward the deficit of the PD. Before we had.
and then we have this big discussion about, well, it all ends up either, because anything left over goes into the capital construction.
Right,
So-
right. The point being that the Cortina money, we can use that differently than we can use
Yes.
the 1% money.
Yes,
And in the past, we used the 1% money to offset any deficit in the police budget, which leaves the Cortina fund intact because we can buy equipment or we can buy cars, but we can't use the
pay for overtime,
or
the special patrol.
right, but we can't use the 1% money
Correct.
for those. That's why I thought it would be, we were better off using the options tax like we did prior to the Cortina.
I think the plan, like we did last year, was there's certain things we intended to use Cortina money for this year. So we want to apply the funds for that purpose up to the point necessary to make sure that they're not in deficit in their budget.
Right.
And then anything else we would preserve.
Because I'm just, because of what the restrictions are on the funds. I know when I first started here, there was any excess, there was a certain amount of the excess or a certain amount that went to the police budget in case there was a deficit if we needed it for the 1%. So it's a different use of the funds. That's why
Okay. But now we're all aware of it, so we'll try and get the language and
right.
do it correctly.
The last thing in the minutes was about Jimmy. You want to talk about that?
Yes, so in every year, the American Legion of Vermont puts out a bulletin asking for applications for their Officer of the Year award. So in February of this year, I submitted Officer Placus for the award. And I was notified last week that Officer Placus is going to be given the 2025 American Legion of Vermont Officer of the Year award.
Nice. Terrific.
So there will be a ceremony, I believe it was June 27th at 10 a.m. in Colchester, where he will be presented with the award.
Take pictures.
I will
Yes.
entertain a motion from the select board to congratulate and thank Officer Placus for his excellent work.
Second.
And thirded. For the American Legion Award. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. And thanks for doing that.
It's a good thing. It's a great cause. Anything, I don't think that was it from committee, right?
Yeah.
Can you get one?
Okay. And so the interviews are for the additional police officer, not the SRO, because we
Correct.
didn't have that position open at the time you put out the notice.
Correct.
Okay.
So I have to do the notice for the SRO now that we've actually received the notice that the SRO is leaving.
Okay.
So I'll be posting that one.
I think you're gonna need an open position for the next 3 years. Well, we might fill it. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see that position filled and be out of our pocket instead of you guys having to scramble until you can find someone. Realistically, I think you got a year to fill 3 positions.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
And 2 are already funded. And it's the third one, it may be on us for a little
Yeah,
while,
maybe.
Mhm.
but. And I don't know what the candidate pool out there is like, but it appears to be very,
It's very slim. It's very slim.
do you have any idea how we can try, I don't know, I don't like taking people away from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But are we looking at, people right out of the academy?
So
Or is that hard to do, or are they already earmarked?
it's not hard. So if people are going through the academy, they're going through foreign agency. So that means they've gone through the hiring process and they have been given an officer by whatever sending agency. So if Rutland Town PD, one of the applicants who isn't certified, if we were to select them, we would be essentially sponsoring them through the academy. And then when they graduate, they're ours because we've hired them. I wish it were like civil service where the list was posted and we could just take and
So
that's
do
who it
we
is.
allocate some funds to be able to do that, or how would we go about?
So you're talking, it comes down to recruitment. Unfortunately,
We actually budgeted for officers at level 3. So if we were
And
doing a brand new recruit, we would be paying them less and using that extra surplusage to pay for their
And then we'd
academy.
have to budget money to get them up to the level we want them.
Yeah,
Correct.
not be immediate, I wouldn't think.
No, so if we hired somebody brand new with no experience, we're talking a year before they're actually any use to the department.
Yeah.
And that's from start to finish because you figure hiring process and then time at the academy and then field training. About a year process to get them to the point where they're now on their own solo handling calls by themselves.
And then I don't know if that's a prospect or not.
It's something that we've put out. I don't think we've actually ever specifically recruited. We've always been fortunate where other people have been leaving agencies and coming to us. I think this is actually the first time where we have had a situation where essentially we're hiring blind. We're going through the official full process because we did have somebody, but then they withdrew. So now we're actually experiencing a full hiring process. So it's something we have to kind of look at how we're going to do that. Because
if we didn't have the funds, I mean, we have funds to hire somebody, put them through the academy and, you need help yesterday.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're not getting any, and the longer we wait, it
is what it is. When you're talking new recruits, we're in the mix for pay for our area. I know the city's going up, but the city's always going up. The state's always going to go up because I think they just got a new contract too.
Yeah.
But we're pay wise competitive. What I try to hammer and what the people in the department tell people their reasoning for wanting to be in the department is our work-life balance is priority to us. We want to ensure that our people aren't getting burned out. And because we're not 24 hours, there's not like the city, there's not the burden where there's minimum shifts because of union contracts or special details you have to do. So that's been a selling point, which is why we've gotten pre-certs in the past, is because of the work-life balance. Obviously, moving forward with Walmart coming to town, putting more people on, the expectation is that we are going to be covering more hours. But work life has always been, I think, the reason we draw people. Plus, the medical side of it as well has been a huge benefit that we're still funding that. Or now there's a buyout option.
With the buyout.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we bumped you up on the Beamers.
Yeah. And now Beamers D is competitive with everybody else around us.
Yeah.
So how would you go about selecting a candidate to put through that?
They apply, and if it's, no experience, it's going to come down to how good of a background how good of a background can we do, and what is the character of the person? Is it a young person who's just throwing an application out there because they want to throw an application, or is it somebody who we can tell there's a desire to want to do the job, and do they have the traits we're looking for?
I'm just curious if there's some veterans or somebody that have maybe some military police background or something that somehow we could recruit one or two do that to get somebody on board, sooner or other. I understand the looking, but I think everybody's looking, and the pool is very shallow.
Yep.
There's not a lot of them out there, and we may have to be proactive here at some point. And
I don't disagree with you.
how do the academy classes run?
They run
I know they're every
twice a year. So they run a winter class, which starts in February, and then they run a summer class, which starts in August. And usually in the past, what agencies have, not like the state police, but what the city will do in the past is if it's between classes and they hire, there's usually a part-time certified class going on somewhere in between. So they will send them through part-time. They will get that person back to the road. They'll actually start their field training then. And then when the academy opens up,
one of you guys,
when the academy opens up for the full time, they kick them to the full time. And when they graduate, the FTO period is brief because they already have taken most of it in the beginning. So
do you want to pursue that?
It's not out of the realm of possibilities.
I mean, we've got a couple of months to get somebody for that August class.
Yep.
And we do have money available for two officers. I mean, we need it. Hopefully we'll find an SRO from somebody out there that wants that job, but I don't know.
Yeah, the SROs, the people who put in for SROs are, I won't say they're different, but their priorities are different than a patrol person.
I understand. So you might get, like I said, that might be a position might be easier to fill. I don't know, than a field officer. I don't know.
I've already gotten interest calls on the SRO spot, so I think that one will be quicker to fill than the patrol spot.
I mean, I'm not trying to overstep the police committee, but I'm just thinking somebody's gotta, I mean, we gotta do something, and Ted's got his back against the wall, and now.
Well, Ted has been briefing us on this and doing the steps, and we did have candidates, but they, didn't pan out, so.
How would, as a town, how would we initiate the police department looking for a candidate to go to the police academy in August?
Really, what other agencies do is they go to recruiting events, or when there's public speaking events, they're there promoting like, hey, we're hiring. Case in point, I know, obviously July 3rd is the town thing. We could put up a table up there.
Yeah.
And we could try to do things for flyers to tell people, hey, we're hiring.
Yeah.
Do you, as a PD, I know the highway does, have some online PD page, something
other than what's on the town website? No. So we don't have a Facebook.
Would that be to your advantage?
We've talked about it, and actually Officer Plackett has wanted to run with it, but there's actually a specific course we take through the academy on managing police department Facebook pages.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a protocol for that.
And they're kind of shorthanded right now.
Well, no, I know that. I'm just trying to figure out some way we could get some candidate interested in, if we're a year away, we really need to.
Well, we've also got, there's a criminal justice program at Castleton, right? Do we go over? Do they have an open recruiting time over there? Do we go?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't honestly know though, because I've never had to do it.
Yeah.
So like I said, we're into new waters here,
Mhm.
so I'm open to ideas.
Well,
So it looks like the young people in the city have taken that class. Any idea if they're getting any more recruits out of their social media activity?
I don't know.
because advertising is the big thing. I was just thinking when Mike was giving his report on the events going on in July 3rd and August 16th, that advertising is key. Some way that you could get the word out there that I don't know how you pick candidates, but obviously you guys will have some interviews and
there's a panel, there's questions, there's specific, and when you're talking the panel being made up of law enforcement and people with that experience, we can read through the ones, like I said, that just apply.
I'm just thinking there might be somebody out there just maybe looking for a new career goal and if somebody's willing to foot the bill and hire them, that's usually a good way to go.
League of Cities and Towns post job posting?
On there, yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, maybe even if we just put it on the town's website that we're looking for a candidate for the
do.
police academy.
It's there.
For the police academy or just for,
The job posting is there.
okay.
Yeah.
We didn't go into specifics about what we're going to do or not do, but it's there.
Maybe
We
could
didn't,
look
do
at
we
modifying-
specify like level 3 or, okay, so it's.
I
pretty
think I
wide
left that out of this time around. Like,
Okay.
Yeah,
I know in the past I've said level 3 preferred, but
Yeah.
we will accept, and that has deferred people, but I don't even know if I put that on this time.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay,
we can train people, we can budget money to train people to your satisfaction.
Correct. And I think that's a route, I think we're going to approach that sooner rather than later.
yeah.
Well, we'll revisit it in a couple weeks or whatever.
Seniors welcome to apply. I mean, JP, took up a new career.
Yeah,
I could.
I think he's
Maybe
having
not.
way too much fun doing it either.
Hey, we've got some police calls.
Yes. So I see Kurt's looking at the South End one, so we'll just start with that.
See, it's
So-
up a tick,
53 South End calls.
not much.
It's on par with what we're doing throughout the year. Small uptick. I talked it over with the police committee. Hannaford's is probably our biggest caller right now. It's 2 to 3 times roughly a day they're calling. A lot. So most, I won't say most. A fair amount of their calls are they're meeting the people at the door. The people are dropping the product and then running. So they're getting their product back, but they're still calling us because they want these people trespassed. And while we put it on the stores to issue their own trespass orders, they don't know who these people are. So they call us to assist in IDing them for the purpose of next time. We tell them essentially when they're in the store, trespass them because they're going to come back.
Right.
Like we can give you the name so you can pre-fill it, but we still do have the ones that don't drop anything. They just run out the door.
Yeah.
So as far as that, dead end of Ranberry Road, the Foley property has not been a burden to us yet, which is very good. I know that Mr. Foley has been keeping a better eye on it. So, and somebody was supposed to go in there and clean through it. I don't know if they did or didn't, but I know he had hired people to do that.
So there is some folks, I think, still on Diamond Run's property, right? On Joe's property.
So I haven't checked. They
Okay.
think they were up over the knoll
Yeah.
as you go back towards Spartan. They were there last year. I believe there's one down there, but I'm not 100% sure. We're going to look into it tomorrow.
Okay.
There will be more.
And, you were talking about the time when Jimmy was running radar on Grove Street last Wednesday, Thursday, we were chatting. And he said, it takes like 20 minutes to go make an arrest. And he says it takes 4 hours to do the paperwork. So, you do that twice a day and you don't have any time for anything else.
So
Jim did say we cut down on time a little because there's a fingerprint machine now in our police
does
department.
So that helped out. I mean, it's helped out tremendously in many ways. I know the school is very happy with us right now. But last Wednesday night, Jimmy put a lot of work into a stalking case that was going on in town. And he called me, I think at 9 o'clock at night and said, "Hey, I have one in custody. I'm headed to the office." So as a rule, we don't process alone. So I came in, and to your point, we were there until 1:30 in the morning for the paperwork side of everything.
Yeah.
But it was great because we had the ability to interview, fully process before bringing him to the jail instead of relying on state police to have somebody there.
So when you fingerprint somebody, if there's warrants out or something, that automatically comes up, right? Or does it not through that data?
So it'll pop up anyways because we run a criminal history.
Right.
So it'll pop up on the criminal history. If there is a question though as to who they are, then what we'll do is we'll run them. When we see they've transmitted to the state, which is almost instantly, then we just call up to the state and say, "Hey, here's the what's called the TBT number for the prints. Check those prints for us because we're not sure who this person is." and then they'll call us back within the hour.
One of these days, you're gonna catch a big fish, you know.
That's the hope.
With lots of stuff to.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I just mean, think this city did down to one of the inns there, people from California.
Yep.
And they were here, guys wanted on a murder warrant or something, you know, it's like, okay. I'm glad the equipment's working.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It's very nice.
Yep.
So that's South End. Regular calls, I mean, we had 166 overall calls added, but 51 for traffic stops. So you subtract it, we're down to 115 actual calls.
Actually, it's
Probably off a little.
well, I guess I was misreading the chart. I thought it was gonna be southern plus traffic. Well, that wouldn't make sense. You can go to category of everywhere else, but that's not specified, so.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Obviously thefts, we had 16 of them, and then 9 citizen assists, 9 suspicious, and then 8 sex offender registries. Every quarter, you're required to check the sex offender registry. So a list gets generated to every department that has offenders living in the area, and then we just check their status to make sure they're abiding by their rules. So that's what those are. So I don't believe Officer Black has had any out of compliance this time, so.
I think it was JP down on Creek Road.
Yeah, probably. Had a very good conversation with a gentleman who lived on the Mendon side of town line. He offered up his driveway for up there,
Excellent.
so.
When you say that, you're supposed to draw that word out and read this.
Any questions on the stats? Is anyone from, I mean, I'm sure you are. You guys know Sergeant Aaron McNeil with the state police? He's a townie. Well, Sergeant Aaron McNeil is now Lieutenant Aaron McNeil, and he's in charge of the Rutland Barracks.
Oh, good.
So he was, the official promotion came out today. I found out last week, but the official promotion came out today. So I've known him my whole career, and we've had a couple conversations already about how we can work better or how things can happen. So,
And he knows where Rutland Town is.
yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so he'll be good to work with, and he'll be good for the barracks and for the area.
Sounds like he's a couple of years away from being an SRO.
I believe his intent is south.
But not to that beach.
No, I think his son went to North Carolina, and I think he really likes it.
Yeah.
School,
Cameras.
she was down there somewhere.
Oh, she's in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's way south.
Spring concert tomorrow at the school, so we will be there for that. 8th grade graduation is, I believe, the 10th. So we will be there for that.
Okay.
That's it.
Questions? Thanks for pulling together so much information on the Act 250 thing.
Thank you and Matt for your work on that, because
You're welcome.
I can give you numbers, but you know how to apply it better.
Yeah. I think we're pretty good shape.
Overly cooperative.
Hmm?
I said they seem.
Oh,
very
you know, you're
cooperative.
suspicious now. Hey, I went from 3 to 5 years, so.
They don't, you know, I think. You know, they have figures in mind, and we're probably coming in at a reasonable rate for
Yeah, I
them,
think
and
so.
they're comfortable with
Yeah.
that.
I think everyone was trying to be reasonable, so.
I think
Yeah,
we all
that
were,
helps.
yes. Good job.
And I don't think at any point we gave them the impression we weren't supporting them.
No, we didn't. And the hurry up and sign this, it's like, hey, we've been pushing you.
Yes, we've been ready to sign a year and a half ago when you showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I think that's it. Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Right. Did you hear about the lights there? Friday.
I heard that Belden brought some.
Yeah, well, because it turns out we found out at the last minute that there were no power to those lights this year. The
Yeah.
street lights.
Right. So
some improvising, but
So-
Sheldon saved the day. He's no longer here, but he was on earlier. He put some
Yeah,
white rigs up there and let that park out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
she
is
was out
really
there.
good. Bill was a volunteer helping with parking. This is for the big Rotary raffle.
It's gonna be a big problem at graduation.
It is.
Yeah.
What is?
Big problem.
Fence.
That.
Can you talk to him about that? Because there was some.
Dry,
Yeah.
yeah, they got to pull it, like, they really do, like, it was, people were parked around the ring. like,
Oh, yeah.
And that was half the people that are gonna be there for
Yeah.
graduation.
I want to let him know that was a dry run for what's coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Somebody needs to give them a heads up that they're gonna need to.
and more lighting.
So yeah, Kari actually talked to me yesterday before police committee about that because she said the same thing. And I said, call the school, let them know, cause it's gonna be a headache.
I mean, it'll be
Yes.
done before dark, but.
Yeah.
But it won't.
That does help.
Now, if you're driving up and down there, you wanna be watching that kind of wash. All I'm gonna say.
All righty then. Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
Chief.
Thanks.
Barbara Pulling, good evening.
Yes.
Good evening. Whoa.
Go.
Yeah.
Let's get that camera out of here. So with your action tonight, the planning commission can go ahead and do our little bit with the municipal impact questionnaire. There was
Okay.
there is some language in the town plan about economic development and public safety. So Bill
Okay, good.
we'll finish that up on Thursday night. And
The Rutland Town Planning Commission has separate municipal status from the select board. So you guys, I know you looked at it a long time ago, so I think we're okay.
yeah, I think we are. We're going to be working on the new town plan. We're going to start in August or September. And we are starting committee meetings on the signage for the pocket park. And sorry about the dogs in the background. It's just right on cue here. They've been sleeping the whole meeting. We're going to, the committee, which is made up of planning commission members, will come up with outlines for each of the signs that we think should be in the park. And then we're going to run those by the various groups, like the tribes or the marble company historians and things like that. And get the language just right, and also work with them on the images that could be on.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So we'll
Good.
start that Thursday night too. And can't wait to hear what the subdivision bylaw.
Oh, yeah. So I did.
But that's up to you. It's up to you now.
Yeah.
But
Well, this is kind of a quick briefing. I did speak to Kevin about the lease. Yeah. Okay, and Kevin did send an email down, and basically it's this. What he did was look at the definition for subdivision, and then he saw the point, which is it shouldn't be any lease that triggers a subdivision requirement. It should be something substantial. He looked at the property transfer tax return and the rules there, and they say 50 years before, a lease of 50 years will then trigger the need to do the transfer tax return. So he suggested something like 50 years. And it's really kind of up to ours. I was tossing around the idea of 30 years because most mortgages are 30 years. But it's kind of up to the select board. But the idea was just to redefine the word lease to mean a lease in excess of or 50 years or more or something like that. So it was not a difficult fix. And if we want to proceed, we need to sort of like pick pick a year or pick a length of time and then, I'll have Kevin draft something up that can be included. Now, Marie Faignant was trying to get a hold of me last week and we were trying to get a raffle underway. And I wasn't able to talk to her, but I know she had a couple of smallish things that she wanted to say about the subdivision ordinance. So she's back. She'll be back for our next meeting. So I'll find out what those are as well. But
Okay.
those are a couple of things that are underway. Did anybody else have any that?
That was very well done.
Okay, yeah. We've got a little time.
Yeah, I gotta read some stuff before next meeting.
Okay, and you did have a point too that, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll take a look. Okay, so we're doing our homework too, little bits and pieces. So that's where we are.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I was looking at the project that this water hookup. What is the thing over here at the end of Simons Avenue? The fire district project. I'm wondering, since they've cleared a whole bunch of land there, is there something we can do there to capture all of that? But I think at one point we were looking at a couple of parking spaces there, but that's not our property. I think that's state highway right-of-way property. So
Yeah.
probably not. Anyway, never losing an opportunity. Okay, any questions for Barbara?
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
All of the shrubs I got for the pocket park are, my neighbor came down and we potted them up so they're in pots and their little roots are all covered up and they're doing really pretty well. So we're going to have lots of nice shrubs and a few trees to plant over at the pocket park when we're allowed to do so.
And we haven't heard back from Otter Creek Engineering for design.
Have not. Of course, they were doing other stuff. So,
Yeah.
no surprise.
I
Maybe
think
for
I
next
heard
meeting.
about that a little bit earlier. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Barbara.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Joe Denardo, Public Safety Building Clerk.
So
Yeah.
in your packet, you will see a estimate from Naylor and Green regarding the repairs to the building. And when Bill sent this to the league, I don't know, somebody fell off the chair or something and they sat down and estimates. I don't know if he's gonna come up with anything different or whatever. One thing I would note on the materials, they do show a freight to job site at 7,000. And that's what they quoted, what Kim quoted me at the beginning. And she looked this up for the 2 panels we need.
Okay.
The initial plan was to get those 2 panels included with another order and defer some of the cost or spread the cost out between us and another customer. And I talked to her when she sent this to Bill, and I do believe that's still the plan. But this is what it would cost us to get those panels shipped directly. It's $7,000 to get 2 panels that are worth $12,000 shipped here. Yes. So, I'm not sure where the farmer's market is in their renovations and what they're doing, but the panels are coming from the same place in the same site. And they're the same panel. But this is a labor intensive job because of the way they go together and getting them apart. And I think it's in our best interest that, and I just discussed that the person who did, the company that did do the building and put the panels on is who they're talking. So that's like, the other thing is that.
So do we need to take any action?
I don't believe so at this time. We're just.
The league is waiting for their person to provide an estimate. To see
Okay.
if there's any difference.
And I don't know what you do if there's a discrepancy, because I don't really want to put this out to bid because you don't know who you're going to get to do
Yeah.
the work, but it'll be the board's decision.
Is it, or is it the league's decision?
Well, I don't know. They may have a say in it, but then we're going to hold their toes to the fire if it
Yeah.
doesn't come out the way we want it to. Because if you got somebody that just put that building together 2 years ago, I'm hoping they'll know how to, because it's going to be difficult to get apart because of the way they're interlocking panels that you start in one end and you work, and when you get to the end, nobody knows which way they started. but I'm pretty sure they might have started from the front of the building and on back. So that was the first panel, not the last, which makes it more difficult. So, but they will get to the bottom of that. And, on the 22nd of May, Bill called me and he was advised that the HVAC wasn't working at the public safety building. So I immediately called Dick Chaffee. I did not hear back from him. Being a holiday weekend, I called Naylor and Breen on Tuesday morning, and the lady that I spoke with worked with it. She was working with him, and Naylor and Breen hired her when they bought the business, and she was personally going to call Dick, and he called me within an hour.
Yes.
And we have been in touch with Hayden Plumbing and Heating in Bennington, who did the installation. I have not heard a word. Nothing, nobody showed up, still doesn't work.
It still doesn't work?
We're still
To
out.
my knowledge, it's still running about 78 degrees in the patrol room right now.
Right. So,
Yes.
no, so I will reach out again to Vic tomorrow. Or I did leave a message with Brad Hayden, who, and I thought that dealing with the installer is the way to go, because I don't know what the warranty is on the equipment. The building is warranted for it, but if the compressor on that particular setup is warranted for 3 years, it's better, I believe, going through the installer to get the warranty rather than get somebody else in the mix to come and fix it. And then they're going to say, oh, well, that was under warranty, but we're not going to cover it because you hired somebody else. So I believe we've headed down the road in the right direction. I'm disappointed that I did not hear back from them, because Vic was all over it. Oh, yes, and he was going to call Mr. Hayden right off and get something in. So I will jump on that.
In the interim, Ted has requested a uniform change to short, tight shorts.
One goes back to biking.
It's time for the bike patrol. Talk to Mike Rowe. He's into, that kind of uniform.
So anyway, I will try to get on top of that.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yep.
All right. Mike Delehanty.
No,
Larry Dell Veneri.
I got stuff from Larry.
Okay.
Okay, he wanted to let you know that he usually sells 60 punch cards a year.
How many?
60.
A month.
This year he sold 154.
Whoa.
May is the biggest month since he's been there ever.
Well, if you are an intelligent town
Green Up
resident.
Day, he got 171 bags, 16 tires, and 3 mattresses.
Okay.
That's all.
I think we contributed a couple of the tires. Yeah. And the refrigerator, but that's probably not mentioned.
Didn't mention the refrigerator.
So, okay, nice.
Real quick, I forgot. The Special Olympics torch run.
Oh, yeah.
It started today in Bennington. Tomorrow will be the Rutland leg, so we will be participating in that.
Good. Okay.
And thank you. Donations.
Very good. Thanks for asking. Okay. Did you hit your goal? You had a goal.
I don't think we hit the goal, but we got donations.
We got donations.
That's what matters.
All right.
So.
Right. Next, Kari Clark, Town Clerk and Treasurer.
Wait.
Good evening. Yes, I'm awake. Is that what you said, Joe?
Yeah, good. I'm surprised.
I have quite a few things to quickly go through tonight. First, there is the dog warrant, the yearly dog warrant on your desk. That's going to go to Ted, and I think he's going to give that to JP. If you would kindly sign, there are 2 copies, one from my record and one so Ted can take it. It's just the list of who registered this year and who didn't register from last year. It's kind of it's kind of hard to follow, but
yeah. Okay, is there a motion to approve the warrant for unlicensed dogs.
Grudgingly.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Motion seconded. Any discussion? Not all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed.
Okay, but we still have, well, you did this last year. too.
Until they changed the warning on that
I
thing, I
know.
just, no.
Which is why I didn't read it.
Yeah, that's
The
fine.
real title. So 4 yes, 1 no.
Yeah.
You're a yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Motion carries, and there's 2 places to sign, so. Got that one, Kari?
Okay. And let's see, the next thing on my list is, the other day, Don came in and I handed him over the, delinquent tax collector warrant as I do every year. And his total that he's looking at for this fiscal year alone is roughly, $399,000 total that we did not collect this fiscal year. Hopefully he can reach out and get a good majority of that back for us.
Okay, and I think where did I see it? We were at what, 95% payment, and we're usually around 97, 98
Correct.
of the tax. Yeah, okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
Did you and Matt get together and decide what outfit you were wearing?
I noticed that on the screen, and I thought how lovely they.
So do I want to say this or do you want to not hear this?
Oh, boy.
You could blend right in with the public safety building. It's like public safety camouflage.
They won't let me ride in the cruiser. They won't let me ride in the fire car. So okay.
You missed a page, Sharon.
All right. So next thing on my list, we did have a BOA meeting the other day with a resident and our Board of Civil Authority, Board of Abatement. That went well. I did want to put a side note. If it's not my position, just let me know. But I know that Rebekah was there earlier today. I was listening to you and her talk, and I know that the listers are not there to defend themselves, if you want to use that word. But I know that from conversations in the building, that there was a reason for that denial.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know what it was, but I know that we were all discussing it. So there was something significant behind that.
And Matt was correct to point out there are other provisions of the statute which dig a little deeper. It isn't just that you're a 501c3 and boom, you get the tax exemption for everything. And so, I think because Jeff Gavin was here and he's their attorney, Jeff's going to be looking up those sections of statute and see that there's really quite a bit more.
Good.
Okay.
So
yeah, I was trying to tread carefully, but there's a little more to it. And I think there's a different route that they need to go. So, but that's up to them, and they have an attorney, and
exactly. I kind of was taking the point of they weren't there to say anything, like the listers, and I knew that I was part of that conversation. I just wanted to mention it.
Yeah.
So that was just brief. Let's see. I know that you guys were talking about how many more meetings we have in June. Yes, we do have 2 more meetings, but I do want to remind department heads and I guess the select board too that including this one tonight and then the next one, that will be it for the fiscal year. We're on number 25 tonight and the next one will be number 26. So I've advised people to make sure that they're mindful of their time, their leave time before the fiscal end of the year and any expenses that they planned on with this budget should be thought of within the next couple of weeks because I will
Thank you.
have to close the fiscal year out and that last select board of June will actually be the first one of our next fiscal year.
The first paid for in the next fiscal year.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just as a reminder. And then also on that note, the representative from, I believe it's in Power, the deferred comp for our employees was in the building speaking with people last week individually, and some employees have signed up for it. He is going to come back and do a second round for anyone that missed it. And I'm going to take advantage of talking to him more during that time. But as the person or persons that's taking that on in the office, we made the decision quickly between myself, Deb, and the representative that it should probably begin July 1st to give us some time to set the program up. He did get us logged in last week, but it takes a little time to train and how to use the program to get people put in the proper way. So we just wanted to let you know that those that have signed up, it'll start the new fiscal year.
Is this a payroll deduction that's voluntary for employees?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes,
and
it is.
the town doesn't contribute on this one.
That's correct. It's just employee and what they feel as though they wanted to contribute.
Okay. Good. Well, thanks for that extra work. Appreciate
Oh yeah,
it.
no problem. I just wanted them to know right now that's kind of what we're looking at so that we can set it up properly. And then we had a finance committee meeting with the finance committee, you and Matt and myself. I don't know if someone wanted to summarize that, but I do have some follow-up from it today. Andrew visited our office and Deborah and I and Andrew sat down and had a good chunk of time to go over some things that first of all were needed, and also Deborah is ready to dive deep into how we work financially. So it was a good chance for her to talk to Andrew too and get some introductory lessons on how we look at our finances. But I didn't know if one of you wanted to quickly go over what we talked about and I can follow up with some things.
Well, we had a couple of things. One was a question, and we had talked about this. We started with cash to open back when we had the surplus, and we put 1.5 million in it. And then we know that we took 500,000 from that and used it, I believe, for the public safety building. The question was, had we further reduced it by 500,000, so we only had 500,000 cash to open? But the answer is no. We talked about it, but Bill did a little research, went back through town meeting votes, and so we have a full 1 million as cash to open. And then you might want to follow up, but we were satisfied that the money is there. I mean, there were some conversations. You had some with Andrew, and our main question was, are we going to run out of money before the August tax installment comes, September tax installment comes in?
Yeah,
and we
70 days.
Yeah, we should be okay. But it is something to keep an eye on just in case in the future we might want to up that million to, some higher amount. So
And
what else? Yeah.
But so just to be clear, remember we talked, you give us in this meeting, about the figures that were in audit report in the town report. This is page 47.
Yes.
Numbers that all added up to that constitute the million plus that meets the requirement, but some of those, are for dedicated purposes. So essentially, the town operating cash is $400 some odd thousand, which is where it is now. It's close to $5. So we're compliant as far as where we need the cash to open by one. But it just begs the question, it's something for Kari to monitor with, the cost of everything increasing, so we need to start carrying more.
So the cash to open doesn't come into play until July 1st. Right? That's when we can use that amount for the 70 days until we collect the first tax
And
payment.
then
And then that's put
pay
back.
back.
Right.
Yeah.
So this month, we're at the end of our 26th fiscal year. And we're okay, because I was just thinking, the voters approved the excavators.
Yeah.
And that would technically be available July 1, but we paid for that out of the carryover money, so that money will not have to be put back until September. So, there's an amount that doesn't have to, there's just some things that when I was interested, it said that the major project we did with the south end sewer line, but that would be an entirely separate account, right?
Right.
Well, that was the point.
That was the point, whether the money had been transferred over from the sewer account over to the general account to cover the checks that have actually been written.
They're in the same bank account.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. They should be. The auditor's recommendation is that they separated it.
Figure out,
Yeah. So
I can see where this could get confusing when you have a pool of money and about 12 contributors and 12 detractors.
Yes.
It's a wonder she isn't gray. Pouring her hair out. Anyway.
So that's the gist of the finance committee report. And then Kari did, met with the auditor. So anything else that you want to add, Kari, from that?
Yes, not necessarily add, but just extend upon, because I think Matt did summarize kind of what Andrew and I were talking about today. And I'm glad that you said, so it is one pool of money, right? And we all know that the water sewer is part of our general fund money. It's mixed in, and it's been recommended for many years that we take it out and separate it from the general fund. It would just make it cleaner and easier. And that's one of the points that Andrew and Deborah and myself were talking about today, is that we think it's time that actually happens, because this all stemmed, and I won't go into so much detail, but this all stemmed from um, just taking a look at numbers that were happening daily as the taxes were coming in, and then we were paying out our necessary expenses. I was watching certain things dwindle and getting slightly nervous. Andrew assured me, as he has to you guys, I think, that we are all good. We actually are looking really well. We're staying on point, as you mentioned, Mary, about our budget. We haven't done anything out of the ordinary. So he was taking a look at those things for me because I was slightly nervous, right? And he has concluded, and we agree, that the reason why we're seeing this smaller amount in our checking account is directly due to the expenses to the south end water sewer because they are mingled with our general fund money. And he said, really, it's, we have two places, just like Joey was saying. It's more than two places, but mainly two big places where our money lies. And one of them is in that money market account that I was reminded of that happened before I came aboard when there was a surplus of money from the local options. And you guys allocated money, designated certain amounts, and then put some in the money market general fund to earn interest. But these all combined make our cash that's available to us. So really, one line looks like it's smaller than normal, but really that money resides in the general fund money market account. So if we wanted to make perceptions look better, we could move money from the general fund over to our checking account. It's really what, the same money. It's just so that people realize that if they were to look at it, that it's just a perception kind of thing. But our recommendation would be to move forward with separating that money out for cleaner purposes. And what, and obviously the audit is coming up, and this isn't a definitive, like we have to do it tomorrow, but we are continuously working on improving our finances and how it looks. So I'm sure Andrew will be talking to the board about that a little bit more. But from our meeting today, what this does for us, for me in particular, for you guys, is it just becomes a little clearer on what I can report out to you a little bit more frequently so that you know that we're in a good financial standing, quarterly or however you want. And together, Deborah, Andrew, and I are going to come up with a report that makes sense to all of us, including you, on what information we can provide you to make sure that um, is always something that you can see, that nothing moves drastically, but that you can watch it as the year goes on. So
that would be very, very helpful, and thank you for all of that. So a question, to separate out the water sewer funds and make them separate, you don't need our approval. You can just go ahead as treasurer and set that up, right?
I think I can. I certainly wouldn't want to do something that you didn't know, but it's been years in the making anyway. So, I mean, I can start talking to Andrew and see what that is going to start to look like. But sure, I'm absolutely fine with that as long as you guys are.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much clearly within your purview.
Okay.
But if Andrew says otherwise and that we need a motion, just get us a motion and we'll take a look at that. He's noted that in the auditor's report for a number of years, so it would be good to get that done.
Yes, I agree. So that's kind of what our meeting today just was, an extension of some clarity on some items that we talked about in the finance committee meeting, which was great. And then we're continuing to move forward with working together and coming up with some things to better report out to you. So, yeah. And then my last thing real quick is just the plan for the summer. For anyone listening, I know I've gotten a few phone calls already about what I know about our taxes for next year, and I know as much as you guys know. And so just to make it public, we work on the tax rate over the summer as always in July. due to we wait for certain numbers to come from the state so that we can then incorporate that into our calculations. And then, we meet, as you know, but I'm saying this more for the public. And then by August, the first week in August, we get that put into our system and get tax bills printed out and sent out within the first week of August for that first payment in September. So, as I've been telling people, our budget that was passed in March for the town, it was, nothing out of the ordinary. It certainly didn't increase in these extra, amounts of money. It's pretty much what we rely on as hearing from the state that may or may not drive what we look at taxes next year. So told them to stand by, that's all we can do.
Fair enough. So I was sort of watching the House and the Senate versions about how much money they were going to, whether it was 5% or 3%, I forget what the numbers were, different versions of what they were going to sort of buy down the property tax burden on. But Matt, do you happen to know which they settled on?
I don't.
Yeah. So that's the number.
More than they can afford.
Probably. That's the number we're waiting for. And you're right. It's from the state. It's not us. So
yeah. So people are hearing that as they call, and hopefully if they listen to this, that's what they're going to get for communication as always. So just, stand by and
a big thank you, Kari, to the Board of Civil Authority meeting was to a request to, it was Board of Abatement to abate some taxes. And you do a yeoman's job getting the minutes from that converted into a decision and then getting it printed and out. So thank you very much for your work on that. Not easy to do, but it's important to have that done and done right. And you do a great job. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for looking it over just to make sure I got the details that I needed to. So that's sent out and yeah, on to the next one, right?
Right.
So that's all I have. Sorry for the lengthy, but there's a lot of stuff.
Than anybody else. Thanks.
Right.
We've had a lot of long-winded
a lot of good stuff, a lot of discussion. Any questions for Kari? Matt?
Sadly, yes.
Okay.
Just Kari, on the budget status reports, there's a couple of departments where we're over budget, but I think a lot of those funds are probably coming from special pots like police and highway. So we have to probably worry about those. I always struggle without going through line by line on the interpreting the general fund, and I'm wondering if you have any comments on that, because as I look at the bottom line as it's presented here, it appears that we are way behind where we budgeted to be, but it could be a timing issue. I'm not sure what's
Well, I struggle too with how general is set up. There's so many things to consider coming in and going out. So the easy answer that I feel like I can give you is this, without like deep diving into how this is set up. But I'm confident, and I am sorry if I'm not giving you a really good answer, but I'm confident after meeting with Andrew that we are in a good position, even though it looks funny on paper. He did take into consideration the general. So I know it's not a fantastic answer for you, and I look forward to figuring out this general NIMRIC thing in the future a little bit better.
I think it would be part of what would help, though I'm not sure if it would solve the problem here, is if the there were a figure inserted for, budgeted tax revenue.
Yeah, you had mentioned that once before.
Yeah, because what ends up happening is there's an actual tax revenue, which is a large number, and then on the expense side, there's an actual large expenditure for the school. And so it just makes you can't really compare the budget to actual at the end. Because what I do in other departments is I generally just look at the total expenditures and see if we're spending more money than we planned. And I can't do that here.
You know, I think this might go into a part of the conversation that Andrew and Deborah and myself we were having today. And I'd like to get a little bit clearer on how to explain it and how to understand it too. But I provided him with, well, essentially it ended up being homework for him. But I had figures, historical figures of revenue and expenses for the last 3 years in a spreadsheet that I pulled from NIMRIC. And he looked at them carefully and he was going to take it back and kind of look a little bit better because of that issue, what you're saying. I included property taxes in certain figures, and he was looking at it a little bit deeper where that may answer your question, whether or not we incorporate that in certain aspects. So let me get back to you on it because I think that might be part of his answer, might be something helpful to us to look at on this report. Again, a roundabout way of, I'm not sure yet, but.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so we've started, of course, from a place of a balanced budget. And so it is property tax revenue that balances this budget. So it should equal our anticipated expenditures. And then,
right, I see what you're
with respect
saying.
to, you know, at any given time, of course, there can be timing issues that it's not like the revenue and expense don't all happen in uniform increments. But as we get closer to the end of the year, which we are now, it should be convergent.
Yes.
These are the property tax revenue we're going to get.
Right.
So that money.
Right.
So we know what our actual revenue is, and you plug that in. But because we don't have the budgeted number on the revenue side, it makes it hard to study the bottom line.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And because the expenditure here is the largest number on the whole sheet, because that includes the school money. So that doesn't help us actually analyze our own general budget.
Right. I think that it's a conversation I need to understand a little bit more with Andrew, and then I can get back to you.
Obviously, if anybody's way off the mark in that point, you know, they only got a few weeks left to try to rectify that situation. So to batten the hatches, they better be battened.
Does it have something to do with the delinquent taxes as well? Because I'll throw us off $300,000.
Yes.
Yes, because the budgeted revenue is going to be higher than the actual revenue.
I've never figured out how they do those delinquent taxes.
I know we've talked about that.
Audit.
But we also budget.
We budget for collecting.
We budget for collecting because we collected some this year already from prior year.
From prior year, it's rolled over also summer from this year. Yeah, I know.
So we get that, but we miss. So
I'm glad there's somebody out there that's
when it's a wash, but this year our uncollected at the end of the year is higher than normal.
Yeah.
So it means our total revenue is going to be less than
what was anticipated.
I think the question was, do we budget for 100% of the taxes coming in? And we end up saying, yeah, we should. And we're always like, yeah, but we know that doesn't really happen.
I think we always budget for that 96, 97
You think you'd be running short on money somewhere, but I guess eventually you do collect those taxes, but sometimes. you don't collect
Eventually you
all.
do, because the property transfers and they gotta be paid
And
then,
then you
so.
abate some taxes and.
Oh, me personally,
Well,
oh,
no, I'm
sure,
just
yeah.
saying in general, you pay some taxes, well, then you don't have that as revenue.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true,
And our revenue side usually exceeds our expenditure side on the general.
Yeah.
On a pretty regular.
Yes, it does.
1% money.
That does help.
1% money.
It really
It does
helps
help.
flush some things around, but still.
And
You
that
should not use the word slush.
Well, I know.
is,
That's why you gotta make sure it doesn't like slush. You gotta keep an eye on it.
And that's why we take a better look at
and
things,
some of
so.
this, like I
It's
said,
good we're
would have
raising
me
it.
Pulling my hair out because we anticipated 1.3 million and we got 1.6,
6.3,
whatever.
yeah,
So now we got $313 million out there somewhere. Yeah, 313,000. And it's like, okay, but that's somewhere. You know, and I like go through some of these budgets and some line items look really, really bad.
Mhm.
But, you know, they're like,
That's
way over, but when you look at, we budgeted $500 and we spent 2,000, well, yeah, it's 400%
Yeah.
over, but it's not a huge amount of money. You know?
Yeah.
So I tried to go through that line by line and,
look at the actual, not the percentage of overspending. Yeah.
right, and then try to look at the lines that you don't spend any near what you're going to spend. You know, and, so those go against the overtures and when you come at the end, there'll be a little which,
Well,
but anyway,
yeah,
got through 3 budgets and eyes are crossed.
okay. So, anything else for Kari? We need to get on to Bill.
He's gonna go to sleep and
I know.
I don't know what you're gonna
Yes.
see. Well, you don't see minus red numbers, Carrie, you're all set.
Okay, thank you,
Thanks,
Kari,
Joe.
very much.
All right,
Have a
you'll be good.
evening.
We don't have colored ink in the budget, so.
Yeah, we should have.
No, well, no, no.
It's included in our copier contract.
Oh, is it?
Okay, Bill Sweet, Town
See
Administrator.
the good deal. We got color toner on our copier contract.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good
It is still
evening.
evening.
Thank you, Carrie.
Very
Not
funny.
more than school after.
Very
this, so
funny.
Whatever.
Okay, let's see. In your packet, you have from Max Steel,
Mhm.
their salvage yard certificate.
Who signed it?
He did.
Who's he?
Josh or Israel?
Josh.
Okay, I guess that's a J.
That was Mike's.
All right.
Dr. Josh?
Yeah.
That's what I used to call.
Okay, it's a request for certificate of approved location of a salvage yard. Has anything changed from last time?
It's the
Okay.
same.
So do they have to do this every year or what is the deal?
We give it to them for 5 years. You can do it. You can choose. There's I think it's the last page. You can say how long you want it to be good for. Certificate is valid for 1.
5.
Yeah. We've done it for 5 years in the past.
And we all get to sign it.
Do.
Encourage them to stay.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do.
No, the
Yes.
last page.
They have
Short period of time, they were not open.
This page.
That sucked.
And
And I
they
have
have good
conveyed that
stuff.
to him numerous occasions.
I need to get up there
Sure.
anyway for a steel plate to cover a hole.
Turn that last page over.
So move to approve Max Steel's salvage yard.
Well, I just,
Motion's
paper
been
by
made
double
and
side.
seconded, and we all get to sign it.
Who fills it in, Bill?
it's all filled in. Hers is all filled. The original one is all filled in.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
Yeah.
If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Yeah, there's a lot to fill in. So it's all filled in on her copy too.
Maybe you can just put a little thank you there, Mary,
Yeah.
that you're still there.
You know,
For those of us that patronize that business, the 5 or 6 months I couldn't stockpile enough stuff.
Ugh. Yeah, I went down and bought a truckload of stuff before it closed.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're still going strong. So that's everything from your packet. On your desk, we went through the police committee minutes, subdivision stuff. We have a offer from the group doing the 250th anniversary.
Oh, yes.
If we would like a feather flag And there's an example included for you there. They are free of charge. If we would like one, we can get one. Know where you want to put it.
So
They're free, we'll take 10.
You know,
we'll get one.
we probably will get one, yeah, because we got to do something with it afterwards, so.
And I go by where they have them when I go up to Montpelier. So, if you can make arrangements, I can pick it up on my.
Sure.
Yeah, but don't they sort of come?
It's not.
Yeah, otherwise.
Just,
Here I come.
yeah, hold it out the window. Hold it out the window to drive home. That's right. All right. So that's everything on the desk, everything in the packet. GE on the 29th of May did provide their follow-up as they promised they would.
Okay.
And there's several things there. One of the buildings guys, Tom Doty, is going to come on the 16th to talk about what's included and why it's there and what happened. And we ran some numbers and they're basically almost back to exactly where they were before. So
This is the water overage or the
yeah,
sewer?
it's the sewer allocation based upon water usage. But there's a cooling system they use that it's all in the letter. It makes sense, and he does a very good job explaining it, and I'm going to let him do that. Yes. Robert Clark has compiled his comments for the shared use path, and we'll have them available for the next meeting. I don't think he's planning on attending, but he's going to at least provide all his comments for what his recommendations are for anything that needs to get wrapped up there. The work on the cameras related to the grant wrapped up yesterday. So that is all done. So when we get that last invoice paid, then I'll submit it for the reimbursement, but everything worked out really well. Dell called me the other day. There was he got up there and found a whole pile of stuff that didn't belong. And by the end of the day, the person was contacted by the police department and made arrangements to come and pay for it and was invited to not come back. So
were they dumb enough to leave plenty of identification?
Oh, no.
Oh, pictures.
So I had the vehicle, which was a rented vehicle, the license plate and the vehicle identification. So I called the rental company who happily gave me all the information related to it. I then went and found the information, tried several times throughout the day to get a hold of them. They did not answer the phone, but they did when Jimmy called. So Jimmy had a discussion with them and Jimmy took it over, which was nice. He very graciously took it over for us. And the person, there was two people, and the person that it all belonged to came up on Saturday and paid Dell for fees that related to what they left there. So
all due to our new camera.
100%. It was
we
we would have, well, not quite, but we would have not have been able to get the information we got. It was the placement, the quality was just everything we needed. So we pulled the video. So it was great. And now they're up in Center Rutland, and yep. So we're in very good shape. So that's that all came together, and it was a wonderful example of how we needed it to work, and it did just like we wanted it to. So I sent an email to the chamber this afternoon because I hadn't heard back from them, and there was another post on Facebook that they were collaborating with for calling out all these wonderful mountain biking trails all over Rutland County, and we weren't in it. So Sarah Pelkey she did me back a little while ago. She's like, we owe you guys some spotlights. I'm like, yeah. So she actually wants to meet with me and talk about some other things. So we're gonna we're gonna work on that to get that.
She's also going to be that Reddit came to. Sorry, whatever they're called.
Chamber of Economic Development of the Rutland Region.
Yeah.
Cedar. Terrible name.
Yeah. Anyway, they did send a rep to our intermunicipal meeting, and they're going to be publicizing that.
Oh,
so it'd be good to check and see if they put anything up there.
Well, it was Real Rutland and the chamber put this together. I'm like, but we have Northwood Park that has miles of trails and, you
And a
know.
disc golf course.
Yeah,
that's
yeah. So,
wonderful and-
so we're gonna talk about that. So we're gonna come up with that in the meantime. And then, there are a couple.
And I also have breakfast with her every Thursday.
Well, there you go. You can remind her.
Yeah.
You know, where do you go to Johnny Boy's? Do you tell her right where she is? Like, make sure you know her.
No, it's Jones's Donuts though.
Well, that's all right too. And then there'll be a couple days, the next couple weeks that I'm going to be out of the office taking care of some things, but I'll be out, but everything will be all set.
So do we still do, I've got a whole week off before we do agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're fine.
Okay.
That's, I've got the days and things I've got worked out so that it won't affect board meetings or agenda time. Don't worry. We do a pretty good job planning that. And that's,
Everything.
So before Kurt.
I was just quickly going to go through the action items. We've done A, B, C, D.
I thought we got them all.
E is the rental housing code. We're waiting on JP to come in.
GP promised he'll be here at the next
F,
meeting.
Okay.
F, I
disaster.
was part of a webinar today, the group that's working on the .gov transition, and there's some aspects of that are going to help play into that. So that's going to kind of be waiting till see how this plays out. So that's still moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
The select board project list is there. And committee reports, we did finance, police and fire, and I had added bids for culvert construction work and we rejected them all and we're going back out to bid. So I think I've got it now. Joey's got something before Kurt makes his motion.
Yeah. So the situation at the town school with the parents picking their kids up, parking on the sidewalk. And I've had so many complaints that I don't know what to do about them. The last time I went by there on a Wednesday, they extend past the little house on the corner and partway up the hill. And there used to be a grass strip there between the pavement and the sidewalk, and it is now all dead. And they're parked. The only place they don't park is in that house's driveway.
Yeah, they go all the way up to Easy Street.
Huh?
They go all the way up to Easy Street sometimes.
They were beyond.
Yeah.
They were halfway up to Chizana.
Yeah. Almost. It's terrible.
In right on the crest of that hill. I do believe the school needs to address this and figure out some way to get them off Post Road.
Funny enough, one of his tasks, not so much a task, but something he undertook was Officer Perkins examined this.
Yep.
His recommendation to the school, which I don't think it fell on deaf ears, but they weren't very open. There's a grassy parcel of land as you drive to the left of the gymnasium. You drive where Mike puts his skating rink.
Yeah.
The question was posed, why can that not be converted to staff parking? And then open the areas in front of the gymnasium and the lower parking lot for use for either child pickup or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that is an effective fix, but it was an idea that was pitched and very quickly went nowhere.
They need.
I don't know either. That's the only.
You have the traffic. They're already sending traffic in two directions. Some people go in the front, and some people go by the gym, and they're just looping around. So,
I know it's a short period of time, but it's a really bad place, and that sidewalk is not going to handle vehicle traffic. It's morning drop off, afternoon pickup, and the school year is coming to an end, so it won't be. But I do know I got a complaint last year. There was a meeting being held there, and cars were parked there. They weren't picking kids up; they were parked on the
events. They absolutely park there.
Yes.
Yeah. And I didn't think it would. From the lower that driveway down is curbing, and if we invest in curbing between the sidewalk and the road, that would probably deter some of this. But now they're going to be parking in the travel portion of the road, which the school needs to address. This isn't a municipal problem, but it needs to be addressed.
Oh, just have the kids rent bus. Well, yeah.
Or have the kids, well, that's what everybody tells me.
They release the whole school once.
I was just thinking staggered times.
Staggered.
So I say staggered, but it's not. Dismissal is 3, The bus riders get dismissed, I think, at 2:55.
Yeah, but people are lining up at 2:30.
Yeah.
And it's
sooner.
Yeah, if they did what Teddy said, if that parking where the staff parks was moved, they could make maybe lanes there where you could come in and then go down and turn one way out in several ways in.
There's supposed to be 2 lanes there.
There is by the gym.
And do they use both of those?
Yep.
I haven't paid attention.
No, they use, I mean, they've tried several different ways. I know the state came down and observed drop off and pick up one day. There was some state engineers to see if there was something they could offer, and the state said no. So they've looked at it, but the only solution, not, I won't say solution, but the only idea pitched was from Officer Perkins was change staff parking and try to open up in front of the gym in the lower lot. I don't know how they would, what they would do with it, but that was his suggestion. Other than that, I don't.
If you
it's such
had
a small lot, that,
Unless you built a drive from that field you're talking about.
Yeah.
Out back on the post road down the hill. Then you had more, you could get more people in the loop.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
I don't know.
because they still gonna do the same.
It's all the
operation.
stacking. It's all the people just waiting. That's the, once it gets going, it's.
But if you took
They're gonna have to stagger.
if you took the parking
Let middle
area,
School out 45 minutes
The problem is
earlier.
It's not gonna change it's not, the people are still gonna get there.
They're gonna get there and sit.
Right.
if that parking area where the staff park was empty and you put lanes, you could drive in and you get in a lane. And when you get to the front of the lane by the gym, you pick your child up and you drive out. There'd be one exit and one entrance, but stacking lanes. It's kind of like when you're going to I don't know, I've been to events where you have multiple
Big
lanes.
venues,
Yeah.
And you line it up and so this is where you park. And then when you get to cause where the kids come at the gym door,
we come out of both.
Some of those.
some do.
So they do middle, so elementary comes out of the front.
Yeah.
And then middle school comes out of the gym.
So if you know where your child is coming from, then that's where you would go. And if they have to, maybe that driveway becomes 2 lanes inside.
It is 2 lanes.
It's 2 inside.
It is 2 lanes
Yeah.
inside.
And if you had, I don't know, but it is a
Which is in
annoying.
itself a hazardous situation because you have Kari, they're getting those kids loaded at the cars down there. It's too late.
Right, you gotta be careful you don't run over kids.
Yeah.
But people walking or doing whatever, now they have to either walk in the road or you're walking around parked cars. And sometimes the parents get frustrated and they do things like make U-turns in the middle of the road and try to run over pedestrians and I keep forgetting to bring it up, but if you mention something, then that just, there it is. So, something to think, because like I said, the school year will be over June 10th.
Yeah.
We got a summer to come up with a plan with the school, with somebody, but something needs to be done.
Well, our carrot is that we can help with paving costs if we wrap it into our paving. Our stick is that this is the sidewalk that we put there, and it's supposed to be for pedestrians, and all of the stacking lane we put to solve the problems has made it worse. So,
The more paved ground you got,
yeah,
you know, and I know that sidewalk has been a controversy about the little grass strip, but that grass strip would have amounted to nothing because they don't care. They just drive over
They're gonna go anyway.
yeah. But the only solution is pretty much curbing.
Wooden stakes with pink tape on it.
No, they're wrong with the stakes. You gotta have curbing.
Well, at least
Because below there.
Drive over that.
Well, yeah, some will drive over that.
they will.
It's just gonna be a little bit harder for Dave to plow the road.
There definitely is but like with the 2 lanes, which like you're saying, the 2 lanes come around. The other issue is then in the school, it's something the school has to address is like, there's a kid that parent wants to get out, help them get in the car, and that's there's so many things that cause it to back up.
And I don't believe there's.
Open the door, get out.
Yeah.
Get out,
get in, let's go.
And I don't know if these kids have access to the school bus, but if they do, they should be riding a bus.
According to Mike Rowe, all the buses are full, so that doesn't seem
right.
Because there never used to be that many people riding cars, and there's not as many people as.
I don't think they have it probably as many buses.
They have less buses.
But it is astounding because you never used to have that lower parking lot either.
Yeah.
But It's all, you go there for an event and it's
Yeah.
They park down Post Road, down the hill, on the sidewalk, like it's chaos.
Okay. Yep. Well, I just thought I'd bring it up because it's been drummed into my head several times.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0.